This how this shit go, bro. Your home is the last place where they gonna respect your shit.
Oh yeah.
Always. Always. When the rest of the world, the cities and hoods and shit start jumping on your shit, niggas gonna be like, that's our man. He from our city.
Yeah.
That's when way come. You know what I'm saying?
I'm on my wave, on my way. I'm on my wave, on my way. I'm on my wave, on my way. Got the code to the bang, code to the save. Everything man-made, everything great. Pull up with the OG, smoking on the grave. Big chopper like I bought that shit from Kuwait. All of these rats and they live in my save. Baby so bad I'ma give her a taste. Already know that I had what it took, what I did, what I had to make what I made. Live it and save, I feel the rage. 40 is spray, my bro locked in the cage. Gotta get paid, I'm on my way. All of this water, bitch, I'm on my way. Got a Gucci belt with the Fendi face. Got a pretty bitch with a skinny waist. Money on my mind, money in the weight. Money in the water, money on the way. I'm on my wave, on my 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 way.
I need some motherfucking money, nigga.
Montez on the beat.
I can feel the heat from a mile away. Louis V shades but the sun rays. Spark at the ops on the front page. Rock the Gucci belt with the Fendi face. When you really don't win, you can't be replaced. Young tape, I might do the race. Really nigga might just do the dash. Put a whole pill, hope I don't crash. Bad little bitch tryna do half. Lately nigga been on a warpath. Feel like pulling out that 40, put that 40 to a pussy, tell that pussy nigga hold that. It's a wave, you can surf that. Blue faces, I'ma take that. Gas bag, I'm working that. I might break a back, cause I'm serving that. Don't know where I'm at, but bitch, I got a sack. I'm the quarterback, cause I'm tossing that. And I'm flipping that. Keep my throw away when she throw it back. And then I bring it back. Then I bring it back. Then I bring it back. Hope niggas know they ain't safe. Run to the bag and for play. I put that fire on their face. I'm on my way, on my way. I'm on my wave, 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 on my way.
You would be a wave around that bitch, you feel me? This how this shit go, bro. Your home is the last place where they gonna respect your shit.
Oh yeah.
Always. Always. When the rest of the world, the cities and hoods and shit start jumping on your shit, niggas gonna be like, that's our man. He from our city.
Yeah.
That's when way come. You know what I'm saying?
I'm on my wave, on my way. I'm on my wave, on my way. I'm on my wave, on my way. Got the code to the bang, code to the save. Everything man-made, everything great. Pull up with the OG, smoking on the grave. Big chopper like I bought that shit from Kuwait. All of these rats and they live in my save. Baby so bad I'ma give her a taste. Already know that I had what it took, what I did, what I had to make what I made. Live it and save, I feel the rage. 40 is spray, my bro locked in the cage. Gotta get paid, I'm on my way. All of this water, bitch, I'm on my way. Got a Gucci belt with the Fendi face. Got a pretty bitch with a skinny waist. Money on my mind, money in the weight. Money in the water, money on the way. I'm on my wave, on my 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 way.
I need some motherfucking money, nigga.
Montez on the beat.
But I need to make sure this is the right link. So let me just turn this on so we can hear it. So I know this should work fine. Monitor.
It's the link to the group.
But it should be okay. It's good now. All right, we are good now.
Who said we're good now?
That's what Amherst said.
Cool. Are we trusting Amherst?
We trust Amherst. Amherst is a past guest. We trust Amherst. Okay.
We want another person. Amherst be lying sometime.
All right, y'all. So some house rules first. So this link is sharing on my personal Facebook page, but it will not be the whole time. I'm gonna put the link to the group. The group, that is where the official link for this will live. So make sure you go there to get this. Sorry about that music. Let me just grab this link and we'll be good to go, y'all. Show video URL. Pop this thing off. Take these shots. We always start with the shots. Okay, boom. So I put it in the group now. Wait, no. So I'm gonna send it to you, Amy. Wait, is that the right one? Let me go to this. This is the right one. Show video URL. Okay. This is the right one. Okay, so if you are on my personal Facebook please do me a favor and go to the pinned comment and join the video there. That's where the whole podcast will be shared. So make sure you go there. We'll be on here for about 20 minutes on my personal page, and then we'll switch to the Words with KB podcast group page, which we appreciate y'all joining. Y'all can see behind the scenes stuff, all kind of other shit, man. But let's get to the shots first. Hello. So we always start the podcast off with a couple of shots. Let's to a good podcast, man. To getting our expectations in
Y'all on
check.
tap the table.
Bro, I was just asking people where that come from, where it originate from, bro.
Germany.
I don't
Right,
know,
exactly.
Just some traditions.
It'd be like some white people making this stuff up. We gotta be careful.
No, we used to smack. Oh, Jesus. Smack
like,
the bottom
this
of the
is
bottle. Amy, was that vodka?
How was that? What was that?
That was my business.
Oh, okay.
That's a black woman answer. That's my business, my nigga.
Okay. Any more questions?
But
It
What's
was
up,
water, y'all? Water. That's what it was.
yeah,
She talking about tap the table.
with the
I
water.
was still trying to move with the flow.
I like it.
Okay.
I like it. So so welcome to another episode of Words with KB, man. We have one usual suspect here today. You know, we got some new faces here. And I'm glad to see new faces. You know what I'm saying? Nice faces.
Drills ain't new.
Well, I mean,
He new-ish. Like we started at 7-ish. You know,
we did start at 7-ish.
I put that on the post. It'll be 7-ish CPT time. So that's like giving us a lot of.
That gave us.
That gave us about an hour. So we really early.
Really.
You know what I'm saying?
was.
But we got Basic Logic in the building.
Europe.
And yo, what kind of jersey is that, bro?
Honduras.
A soccer jersey?
Yeah.
Okay, I like the color. They're my favorite colors right there. Blue, white, and black. The combination of that.
Alright.
Just just so y'all know. We got man Drills in the building, man. If y'all remember him from from a couple of episodes.
I've been in a couple episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not really a
new-ish.
guest. He's like, you know, that person like after somebody come to your house a couple times and the first 3 times you might have cleaned up, like now when they come over, you like, yeah, them my drawers, bro. Just walk by.
It's all good.
That's how I feel about you, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad you know the relationship we have, and we have a new fresh face on, and we are so happy to have her on.
Hello.
This is Amy.
Hello.
Amy, we met at an event.
Mm-hmm.
It was called Relationship and Business, R&B,
Yep.
right?
R&B and relationship.
Can you tell them a bit about yourself? Can you come in a little
Gotta
bit if
come
you don't
first.
mind? I know. I got these new little chairs, y'all think.
It's really little.
They're not
It's a
made
petite
for
set, okay?
African American backsides.
Chill, bro.
Let's just put it that way.
All the cushion out my gone.
So hello everybody. My name is Amy Gaskin. So I'm happy to be here. I am a therapist. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I've been practicing for about 8 years now. I work at Georgia Behavioral. I have my own stuff on the side, and my own business named Refined Vision Therapeutic Services.
The drops.
Did you hear it? So right now, I just love doing what I'm doing. I love helping people. I like helping people reach their successes, whatever they may look like, whether that's individual or relationships. And also doing premarital counseling, speaking engagements, things of that sort. So that's me.
Boom, Amy.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of every show, we show some type of video. Usually it's comedy in nature. You know, Basic sends us a video. We pick a video.
Okay.
A couple of videos he sends us. A lot of duds.
Okay.
But eventually we come to one. So we have one video we want to show from Basic. Y'all let us know if you can hear this. Let me turn up the volume here. So let me turn up the volume here 1 second. Mute that. Okay. So you want to set up this video, Basic, and kind of explain what the video means to you? Yeah. Well, it's kind of I'm asking, but I'm saying set it up while I get it to play.
Oh,
How about
yeah,
that?
it's
How
basically,
about that?
a lot of random videos that come up on my Facebook feed.
So these are videos that you find funny. Is this,
Yeah,
is this
correct.
correct?
It's funny to me.
Good for
Like,
entertainment.
I like these. Yeah, you see a lot of, like, I'm sure everybody watches a lot of little skits and stuff on Facebook and YouTube and stuff. So it's random stuff that just came on my timeline.
They just settle with you. Do they like mean anything? Because I look at the videos you send and I'm like, they mean something to me. Or am I reading too much into this? And I do that a lot.
Not that. No, I think it's funny because I think I don't know if we showed that other video where it was kind of like that one too, when the girl kind of, where they were sitting at the table and it's kind of like the hurt boo type situation when she thought her dude
thought
was
he
cheating.
lied. We didn't show it. And I always
never
wanted
show
I
to.
remember that video though.
Right.
Yeah.
She
She
was
got
some
played.
bullshit. She
played
played herself. Come on, cuz.
She played herself.
God damn.
I was like, girl.
All right, but we ready. Let's show this thing, man. See what.
Yeah, we like showing things from the other perspective because dudes get that.
Can you explain the other?
Well, dudes get that ain't-ish perspective all the time, and we like to show the other times that, sometimes we may not be as bad, but this dude might have got caught up a little bit though. But
You think he did?
yeah,
Okay. Well, let me go ahead and play this. Wait 1 second. Gotta move this, y'all, so the people can see it. Wait. Transition. Hold up, y'all. Let me pause it. Pause, because I don't think y'all can see that. Unless y'all can see it. I'm pretty sure y'all can't, though.
what in there? Amherst, can you see it?
Camera's in there now, but I can see what they see. They see this right side right here.
Just drag it.
I know what's happening. It's not. Okay, this is good. So we're going to start it, so we'll turn it up a little bit. Bruh.
Not the straws. Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit. What is it?
Maybe.
That's pretty much the end. All right, y'all. Let me transition back.
Ooh, Lord.
So yeah, some of y'all couldn't hear that. Probably, yeah, some of y'all couldn't hear that, but it was basically a video about this lady. If you could probably tell from looking at what was happening, but she was basically calling him out for seeing the reflection of food and another girl in a picture that her boyfriend or her husband posted on Facebook. So there was a element of trust that she felt was violated, but she was wrong, and he basically corrected her on that right there. Mm-hmm. So it kind of ties into what we want to talk about today, expectations, right? Which is something that I really didn't really think about that much until the topic came up, right? And then it showed up everywhere in my life. But we want to start talking about Amy, right? We basically want to build a relationship here with Amy on the podcast, right? Because we have a lot of topics that I think are above our pay grade. You think so, basically?
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe yours.
These are usually the topics that Basic doesn't want to talk about. Honestly, just being honest with you. So I felt like we needed some type of professional help, or at least somebody that was, 10 times, 20, 30, 100 times more knowledgeable than us, and has a much different perspective than us, and even more so than regular guests. Regular guests usually come in with the scope of their own life experiences. You know what I'm saying? I feel like she brings a multi experiences coming in, and that's why I think she's important to have at the table. You know what I mean? Cool. Right? So, so I want to know, like, how did you get into therapy, and like what initiated that? Because I know people say that people who are like into therapy are like, they're like in the midst of trouble, and all that stuff, right? Ooh, that's what they say about psychologists and like therapists. Like, they're usually the crazy people.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I ain't heard
Is that what
either.
they say behind
Nobody
my
ever
back?
heard that?
No, I didn't.
But
hear
this
that before.
ain't behind your back.
So now you telling me to my face what they
Right,
saying?
No, I'm saying that usually they say shrinks are crazy themselves.
Oh, from like movies and
Yeah, but
stuff.
that's how it's depicted.
Y'all acted like I was the only person that ever goddamn brought that up.
Kind of.
To say it like that, yeah.
Yeah.
I said
Thank
it. I
you,
should have
Will.
said shrinks because people associate the
Could have said a
term.
lot of different things.
What the fuck is a shrink anyway?
I don't like
I
shrink.
don't know.
I don't like that term.
That definitely is a bad connotation there.
So how did you get into therapy?
I was dragged into this. No, kind of, sort of. So graduating from Savannah State. Woo woo.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna plug it as
I
long
ain't
as
know
I
you in
can.
Savannah.
Absolutely.
Tigers.
Is that what they're called?
Yes.
Nobody knows because they don't really show up, and like
true.
you don't really see them at games and stuff. Cause y'all play. Y'all got a team.
What you trying to say?
What kind of team?
Y'all got
Football.
Okay, I thought it was ping pong. I thought y'all just had ping pong. Okay.
In volleyball.
We had ping pong in the student center.
Turn up. We had it too.
Go Tigers. Okay. So, but yeah, so graduated from Savannah State, didn't know what I was going to do. Went into my master's program, master's family therapy. I went to Mercer.
Family therapy.
Yeah.
So Savannah to Mercer.
Culture differences.
Yeah.
Big time. So, it was kind of good because I wasn't on their campus for like an undergraduate experience.
Oh,
I
okay.
got the whole HBCU experience
Right.
at Savannah State.
And
Got
what year were you at? I'm sorry.
What
year
year?
were you at Mercer? Because we was at Fort Valley.
Were you?
Yeah, we went to Fort Valley State.
did I go?
So that's why I'm just pacing together the years.
2012
Okay.
and 13,
yeah.
I was at Mercer.
I was out.
Well,
Yeah.
y'all went, now we. Because then they made
Oh.
me.
Oh,
We
where'd you
all
go?
went to HBCUs. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I went to Morehouse.
Oh,
Y'all went. You said we.
Okay. Yeah, this is
and you
a-
went to Fort Valley too, right? Okay.
Ian did.
Okay.
So that's a Morehouse. See how Morehouse come in and try
not
to
just- it's
exclude.
not just-
They
He
want
had to have
they
a
shine.
moment.
You know what I'm saying?
I just
Allow
didn't
him to
want
have that
to.
moment.
I wanted her to be knowledgeable about that they were two different colleges. That's all.
She didn't care.
She cared.
I didn't think I
I
did.
think.
but-
I know you didn't, but she cared a little.
I care.
See,
Okay. All right. So
I
so
care.
Fort Valley. Savannah State, Morehouse.
Thank you.
Shout out to Morehouse.
Shout
Okay.
out to Morehouse. Exclamation point.
Right. So culture shock coming from Savannah, which is black college. Mercer is a super duper white, kind of expensive place to go.
Absolutely.
Right,
Not
so that
kind of expensive.
It is super expensive.
Like you got to eat noodles all 4 years.
I ain't know how her pockets was sitting, bro.
Well,
She might have that
it was
family
2
money.
years, and we'll move on from there.
All right. Okay.
There's
2
nothing
years.
wrong with a little noodle.
Okay. Oh, right. Oh, wow.
What flavor?
Oh.
I like picante and I like shrimp.
What the hell is picante?
It's
color
the
is that?
spicy one.
What color?
I thought that meant small in Spanish.
No, that means hot.
Picante?
Yeah, it's
Picante.
like
I might
another
have
form
said
of
it wrong,
caliente.
yeah.
Picante.
What's
yeah.
small?
Poquito.
Paquito.
Motherfucker, you
Paquito.
fucking Spanish. Okay. Y'all got A's. Okay. I took it a
Well,
couple times.
You know,
Paso y paso.
We still don't know what colors those are, but okay.
it's actually white and it has an orange little strip
Yeah,
on it.
orange.
Okay, so you
it's
like
orange.
redheads.
You know what it is?
No, I just want to know what color.
Okay,
I know
yeah.
them by colors.
Like a redhead.
The shrimp is pink.
Like-
White with
guess
red head. That's what it sounds like.
All right, cool.
Okay. All right.
Hold on, we can't just graze past that.
I was
did you
trying,
not
y'all.
say chicken? Like I don't understand.
I mean, chicken's a little boring sometimes when you're
The
wanting a little-
chicken?
I mean, it's good. You should have a pack of chicken with you.
but they
sure.
have multiple chicken. They have roasted, I think. Yeah, right. They have the roasted chicken.
They
then
do.
the,
They have a
the
creamy
original
chicken.
one.
Creamy
The
chicken.
creamy chicken's nasty.
It
That always
is.
kind of make my stomach hurt. But picante,
I just
no.
like. I mean, since I'm eating noodles, why not? Why can't I make it fancy and make it shrimp?
the
flavor?
shrimp was nasty.
we talking
though.
about
That's
real
not even
noodles.
shrimp.
Nah, we
Talking
talking
about oodles and
Oodles
noodles.
and noodles.
Bro, I
My
thought
noodles.
the colors.
Bro,
The
let me
colors.
tell y'all what I thought.
What other
I
noodles?
I thought this was a metaphor for people.
Way too deep. I think we.
Right.
his
We're
cup
still
30
on the
minutes
surface.
down.
Take his can away.
Bro, I thought
We're
this was
still
a
on the
metaphor for
surface.
people, and that's why I asked you, redhead. You said white
Well, that's
noodle
why I
with
didn't get it. I was
orange.
like, I'm just gonna keep going.
Yeah, you
'Cause-
said a white noodle with orange. I thought you was talking about you went to Mercer and you was into redheads. That's why I thought that's what your flavor question was about.
See, now
It
I'm
was a
glad I
metaphor for
separated the
people.
colleges. Remember when I separated?
Damn, I'm sorry. That's what I've been on all day, kind of like on a deeper
that.
level. Nah,
Yeah,
I
but
been,
you was with it. I don't know what happened.
bro, I've been on a
Different.
deeper level all day, and I'm sorry that I did that.
I didn't get that.
All right,
You didn't
so
get that?
now
Okay.
it's just KB.
So
and
let me
myself.
just finish and we can move forward. How about
Yes,
that?
please.
So I went into therapy. I went in there with my best friend. Me and my best friend went into that program. We were awesome. Shout out to you, Amanda. Praise God to intimacy. And it was because of her I just kind of really got into it and honed in on what was kind of like.
Oh Lord!
He nervous. That's
No.
not gonna do it, by the way.
Can we edit this out?
No, we live.
We
it's
live?
live.
Oh Lord!
We live, baby.
We live,
Some
baby.
live practice.
See, y'all don't get this everywhere right here.
But anyway, I just kind of honed in on what was natural skills for me. And
So you always felt like you were, I guess, inquisitive. I always think therapists like ask the right questions.
absolutely.
And so you always felt that way growing up.
Yeah. I need
Okay.
to know.
Okay.
I need to know. I like to know. Don't necessarily have to do anything with the information, but I like to know. And for our people, I was very empathetic. I like hearing about people
Okay.
and what's going on with them. Sometimes to the point, put myself to the side, what's going on with you type of thing.
Okay.
But from moving from there, it was just about really focusing on relationships. My parents were one out of my friend group who still had their same parents, like my parents,
Okay.
biological parents, in their first marriage.
That's rare.
And so I love that about my family dynamics, and I just kind of wanted to bring components of that to us in our age range, to where there still can be positive, healthy relationships,
Right.
and I wanted to be able to promote that, add to that. And then the other component was just getting to know more about people, how they grow, how they don't grow, what affects them,
Right.
why it stops them from growing, why it stops them from being healthy in relationships too. So it's kind of like my focus for just my business in general is being able to help a person become whole, peaceful inward, and it comes outward, and then that shows up in the relationships that they have.
Whole. That's that word stood out to me in that sentence. For people to be whole. I don't think a lot of people. Well, can you define whole for the everyone in the room?
Yeah. Whole to me is someone who has a healthy mental state, someone who has a healthy biologically, as in like their health. Someone who is really aware. Oh, that ain't. Yeah. Take
you.
a shot to my boy.
It
No, I'm
ain't
joking.
even for you, bro.
But someone who is just kind of like at peace, someone knows who they are, knows how to handle relationships, and that's not just romantic, but family as well. Yeah. So, I mean, that can mean a lot of things, but I also believe that wholeness is, we said turn the phones off. And
He a regular.
I just,
A regular.
you should know the rules. No, but I also believe that my definition of whole does not equal the
Right.
definition of my client. So
Okay.
that also is a component of them. So for me, it's just the basics: your health,
Right.
your mental state, and your environment.
All right, but you still need to define, I guess, a deeper meaning of whole for yourself and your clients, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, I like that. So I just want everybody to know what whole meant, right? So for Mercer, there, you wanted to know why, and I heard why a lot in your responses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why this? Why do you feel like this? And you know, trying to help people, which I think that's like important, right? And I don't think a lot of people grow up with that mindset. So it takes a particular person to go into therapy to just want to help people. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I guess, yeah. So
It's not for everybody.
hell
and,
no.
And every client isn't for that therapist, and that therapist for that client,
Yeah.
right?
And we got some future episodes going over like at one episode we're gonna kind of touch on like I guess how to choose a therapist, right? Because we're gonna have so me and Basic are. Have you contacted your HR department? Watch this. Been hitting them up for weeks. Watch this.
Come on, Ian, I'm rooting for
Couple
you.
weeks I've been hitting you up, bro. Every morning, bro.
Just make it up.
Hey, hit your HR up, bro. Ask them about your EAP benefits, bro.
Yep, we did that.
Bro. Anyway, so I'm asking him. So we're gonna go to. We're actually gonna go through the process because me and him had never been to a therapist. Have you been to a therapist, Drills?
Nah.
This might be something you want to participate in too, man.
You want me to go to therapy?
So we basically want people who haven't been to try it out, right? You know what I'm saying? If nothing comes out of it, nothing comes out of it. But if it does, why not? You know what I mean? So that's what we want to, especially black men, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like we're so bottled up into, you know, we bottle up our emotions till they don't even exist anymore. You know what I'm saying? So especially the deeper ones. So I want us to go to a therapist and try to talk about, because we all got trauma, but we don't talk about it. So I want us, so we're going to do a basic that, you know this, right, Basic? This is what I'm trying to do, right? That I want us to go through the whole process of choosing a counselor, right? So how do we choose the right counselor from looking online? Because a lot of times we're not going to be able to see that person and like know their history, right? So that's why I'm not trying to coach you too much. I want you to do it naturally, and I want to record how that process looks for you, how that process looks for me, you know, and anybody else that wants to participate, because that's gonna, you know, speak to someone who's watching at home, and maybe they'll say, hey man, I got some free sessions.
So you're
why
trying
not?
to get rid of the stigma of going to therapy?
I'm trying to, erase the fear that men have around vulnerability. I think that's mostly of what the main issue is. They don't want to be vulnerable. In the therapy, it's not going to work unless you're like sharing information that's like,
I don't even
dear
think
you.
it's a male thing. I think it's like a black people thing. I think we've always just been taught that therapy was for other races.
or therapist is for the weak, or something's wrong with you.
Yeah, there's a lot of stigma that is attached to it, but you're right, it's not just gender bound. But if you break it down into our culture, I will see more African American females in my office than I do the African American males.
Right.
It's always awkward for them. So for me, it just has to be a regular conversation. But it's tough for them to come in and say all of what's going on, especially if it has to do with certain areas of their life. So feelings, sexual desires, things like that.
Right.
So it's actually not a bad experience to go through, just to sit there and you can interview your therapist. Like, there's so many things that we'll talk about on that episode.
Yeah.
So it can be helpful to help people understand what their
Yeah.
process really looks like.
Yeah, and that's gonna be a really dope episode, man. Cause it like even just what she just said, I'm like, cause I was like going through the process in my head. I'm like, okay, do I want to talk to? I know I want to talk to a black person, right? Cause I don't have to waste the time of explaining the black plight in therapy, right? That's a waste of time and money, right? That's logic. So I want to talk to a black woman or a black male, right? Do I want to talk to a black man and like hope that he kind of understands like where I am in my black maleness. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like in a space where like I want to express my emotions and I want to be open with my emotions. You know what I'm saying? So if I say some stuff to him, is he gonna hit me with that man up shit? And I hate man up. You know what I'm saying? Like I definitely want to kill that man up, whatever that shit means. You know what I'm saying? Because I think it just tells you don't say how you're feeling. You know what I'm saying? Most of the times, that's how I feel about it.
I like man up.
You might like it, you know, but it might mean something different to you than it means to me. So, you know, or do I feel comfortable enough being vulnerable around a black woman? You know what I'm saying? So it's like definitely a different dynamics. This is only on choosing a person to talk to. You know what I'm saying? So it's so many different dynamics we got to cover just for us to go to a therapist. You know what I'm saying? Like all these different walls, bro.
Like that with the doctor. Like when because I was talking to somebody the other day. It's hard to find an African American primary care physician. You meet a lot that are because the real money is in specialty.
Yeah.
So a lot of the people, because this is Atlanta. There are a lot of people that are African American that are doctors, but a lot of them do specialties. So you're not really gonna necessarily see them because they're not in primary care physicians. Those are usually, people that aren't from here. I don't know. Foreigners is okay to say or whatever.
Sounds right.
I mean, no, but
people of different nationalities.
Yeah, people of different nationalities than my own. But yeah, I mean, now I was just thinking about that because he was talking about male. I've never met a male therapist. Only male therapist that I know is is Raven's dad on That's So Raven.
Oh wow.
That's not even a real person.
Right.
Yeah, that's the only
somebody
one.
was made up. I mean, the males are scarce in the field sometimes.
Do you know any?
Yeah,
because if they're anywhere, they're gonna be in Atlanta.
I do know male therapists. I have to in order
know
to refer.
one?
No, I know.
Two. Don't think that hard. You know it's two.
I have to think that hard. Right now, off the top of my head, I have 3 in my head. But I know there's more because I go to organizations and conferences and they're there. It's just where now when we talk about African American males, that's a little bit, when we hold it in there as therapists, that's a little bit more difficult.
That's what I was talking about.
That's what you was talking about.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So how many you got on your list?
Hold on.
now?
What was the 3 that you were talking about? You were talking about
He was
females?
Caucasian.
Oh no.
I thought you was
we
talking
ain't
about males in general.
Oh, so only three males in general?
That out came off the top of my head.
What
Let
about
me speak
African-
to what you were saying.
Okay.
So African American therapist.
Yeah.
It's one mixed guy.
3.
He definitely did.
No, hold up.
Off the top of my head.
So you got 3 black males.
Hold up.
That I will refer out to.
Okay, I
Yeah.
got you. So
There's probably more. I just haven't laid
know it
eyes
ain't
or touched
more.
bases with them. But it is scarce.
There's a lot.
I don't know who I would want to talk, and Drills would definitely hear from you next. But I don't know who I would want to talk to. I don't know whether I would. I mean, to be totally honest, I wouldn't feel comfortable with either one, but I probably would be comfortable more with the female just because maybe just growing up with a single mom.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because with a dude, I know. I mean, our therapist, like, we kind of talk with our homeboys a little bit like that a lot of times with relationships.
Bad
and things.
idea most of the time.
Yeah, because they usually give you boo-boo advice.
Yeah.
Like,
Bruh,
just get
I give
over
good
it,
advice
bruh.
though.
Okay.
So you're the exclusion.
Bruh,
No,
I'm the
what good
exclusion of
advice
all
you
this-
give?
Listen, I'm excluding all this male bullshit. I'm
Oh,
like the
wow.
golden light for men.
Okay.
That's how I look at
Duly
my.
noted.
That's how I look at myself.
You ain't got no poo sound bite.
Come on, we
on
got
there?
sound bites now, y'all.
No,
that one.
where's
That's what I
We
need.
don't need that one.
Where's the boo-boo one?
It's like a room full of white people. Like,
No, where's the toilet one? That's what you need to press.
That's
No,
what needed
no,
to
no.
happen just then.
No,
No, that was the one. That was the one
No.
you're thinking about.
no. Where's the toilet? Can I get a
don't
toilet
have a
flushing?
toilet?
He don't have no toilet flush.
I need a toilet flush for that. What you just said. Yeah, there you go. Where's the car
damn.
crash? That was it.
I don't got the crash.
Oh
on this.
man,
All right, we got sound bites now, y'all. So we upgrading, okay?
barely.
Just want to let y'all know.
But yeah, Drill. What would have you've never been?
Never been.
And you from up top, so I know y'all ain't talking to
we don't go
nobody.
to- we
Y'all don't
don't go
even
to
like
America.
talking in buildings.
Make it a good
quietly.
comment. We're gonna go into the topic after this, man.
We don't talk to each other.
Yeah.
But
So I mean, as far as me, I probably, if I was to go, would rather talk to a female.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't really see myself sitting and talking with a guy. I grew up in a single family home. with my mom and my little sister, surrounded by females.
Yeah.
So I don't see me doing that.
That's interesting.
I think that's the common thing. You
That's
get
me too.
somebody, single parent.
All us,
home,
yeah.
Black
Yeah.
woman.
It's like I'm gonna talk to a black woman. I know I could open up more
For sure.
there.
Because we know black women care. Like, I think deep down, like every black man knows there's a black woman that cares about me.
Yeah,
Somewhere.
I mean, yeah, most of us.
Yeah.
Perspective.
Yep. So that was interesting. So
We getting into topic.
we want to get into the topic, man.
Let's go.
So
Expectations, y'all.
expectations.
Let's
Expectations.
define it. Did you look it up?
I looked it up, but I didn't copy it.
Well, you know I looked it up.
Come on. So give us the definition of expectations, because
right,
that gives
guys.
us a good context of
What
what
we're
that
trying
is
to
when
do,
we're
yeah.
talking about.
So let's make some sense of it. Expectations, a noun. Okay.
Noun, person, place, or
You
thing.
guys
Yes.
got it.
Thank
You
you,
guys
Miss
got it.
Johnson.
I went to elementary school.
Yeah. We smart, y'all. Expectation, a strong belief that something will happen or be the case in the future.
Okay.
Wait, read that slower one more time so everybody's good.
A strong belief that something will happen or be the case in the future.
That's
And
the
I
only
have
definition?
I got two.
Okay,
Just go pause,
okay.
Pause. Hold it. The second one is a belief that someone will or should achieve something.
Okay, that's the definition I identify with.
Do you want me to repeat that one?
Yes.
All right, guys. This one we're sitting on. A belief that someone will or should achieve something.
Are we all in agreement?
I like that.
A belief that
That's
someone
I go
will
off of both of
achieve something. Okay, we can ride with this one. This is the definition I've been talking about.
Okay.
Okay. So expectations, right? And like I said before we got into the introductions, I never really thought about expectations so much in the forefront. But before this is her topic, okay? She came up with this topic. And I didn't think about it before then. But ever since we brought it up, it's been everywhere in my life. Like, I'm seeing signs and like literally like a truck pulled in front of me that said, "What are your expectations?"
No, it
A
didn't.
pickup truck. And I'm like, bro, you gotta
Divine
be kidding me.
intervention.
It was like 6 hours ago. I was like, you gotta be kidding, bro. So, and like I said, I've been talking to everybody and I'm realizing that like expectations are like, might be the biggest thing you have as far as like relationships in general, right? So throughout this podcast, we want to kind of cover, like work relationships, right? What are your expectations in work relationships? What are your expectations in romantic relationships? What are your self expectations, right? What do you expect out of yourself and how does that affect you, right? This deep stuff, man. Y'all good?
Y'all thinking already?
You see the faces?
I was like, I just started running through his head.
Look, what are the expectations of yourself, right? And then I want to go in. I don't know the order I even want to do this. I think I want to start at the base, which I think is the last expectation I want to have. It's like the expectations of your parents, right? Like, cause I was having a conversation before we got here. Like, where do expectations come from? You know what I mean? Like, what's your first expectation in life? Where the hell does it come from, right? Because we just usually get to adulthood and we're like, oh, I have these expectations out of you. I expect the X, Y, and Z, but you had them as a baby. You expected your mom to feed you
When you cry.
before you even
first expectation.
Right. You know what I mean? So I want to talk about where do you guys think expectations come from? How do they develop over time? And then I want to talk about those different types of expectations we have, man. So is it okay for us to start? Where do you think expectations come from? What's the first expectation that made sense to you? And like, what did you think about it? I would think most of it is like something with your parents, like, right? We expect the most of our parents, or that's the first person we expect, like, oh, this is back to our definition, expecting something to happen, right? That's what that definition means to me, right? I'm expecting some behavior to happen from you. If it doesn't happen, that's outside of my expectation. So I don't know who wants to start, but come on, somebody.
All right, I'll go.
Come on, Drills.
Dutch, go ahead.
Drills. Will the Drill, he was called before the podcast.
Actually, yeah, pick one. Pick one of those.
Will.
Or drill. Like one of them. Anyway. All right, so I mean, first expectation. I don't think my first expectation was from my parents. Of course, I don't remember. Sure. But the first expectation I remember from myself was to do well enough in school to leave to go to college. Like, I didn't want to be stuck in New York City. So my first expectation was to do good enough to get your ass out of here.
Yeah.
When you 17, 18 and graduate.
From the rats.
That was my first.
Okay.
That was my first expectation.
Okay, so that's the first one that
The
you
first one
formed
that I
in your
remember.
head.
Like,
That I
for
remember.
yourself.
That I remember.
Okay.
Okay. So
That makes sense.
yeah. What about you, Base?
I mean, I don't want to piggyback, but I was just thinking, I was just like, it's like the normal stuff. Like you expect your mom to keep the lights on and give you food, just simple stuff like that. And also, it was an expectation, supposed to have all A's and B's, no C's was allowed in the house.
So grades.
Yeah. And you expected if you brought a C in the house, you was going to see that belt. So shout out my Dukes.
So expectation had like physical results, ramifications.
It did.
Yeah.
That's how you make sure it happened.
Big.
Their way of making sure it happened. I think for me, when you touched on your parents, I feel like your parents do set a certain, and I would say your parents or whoever is your guardian at the time, because we all don't have traditional homes.
Right.
But to say whoever that adult was that made an expectation, now whether that expectation was a positive or a negative, we don't know. But I feel like it starts at your home. Most things start at the house where you were born and where you're raised. So
what's the first one you remember?
for me, let's see, of my parents for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, your
so-
first expectation you remember. I don't know if it's from your parents, but your first expectation that
I
you
think
remember.
the one that hones in, and I won't say the first expectation that I remember, the one that sets closer in my mind that has been drilled into the kids was not having a kid before 16.
Okay. That's an interesting one.
Right.
Just 16?
Yeah,
Because
because
you probably knew-
within our generation, my family's generation, it was having kids before 18. The males, more or less, having kids before that, and then my sister as well. And so it was just something that our parents wanted to break a generational curse for, in which we have already with me, my brother, and my little brother. But not to have kids before that age because it's hard. I guess they didn't want that struggle for us. So that is the one that in my mind right now pops out as an expectation from my parents.
Right. And right now we're going through the first expectation that you remembered or the one that was most important to you early on in your life. I think my first, I guess this would definitely be insignificant, but my first thought that I think about was like picking me up from school. Because I used to, I'm sure it's like more, right? You can go into like
A whole bunch of them.
yeah, like feeding you and like how like the same basic necessities you talked about, right? But it was like I remember like I used to get in these after school programs, right? Because I like hated growing up in a small town, Georgia. I hated that. Right?
Where are you from?
I'm from South Georgia. It's a small town called Morven, Georgia. Population 600 plus, maybe.
600 where?
Depending on how good the year is. Right?
6.
Right.
Okay.
So pretty much nothing's like a farming town, right? People who got money got farms. I grew up on myself. Like people call it a farm, but I never considered it a farm. We had pigs, chickens. We grew our
What
own.
makes that not a farm?
It's not a farm compared to like all of the other
Oh,
people
what the hell
had,
is
like,
that? I'm sorry to interrupt. What's
30
that long
acres.
ass damn comment?
We're gonna read it from Tania.
I'm sorry.
Tania has some great.
Oh, yeah, that's
Tania
their
has some
first
great comments,
expectation.
right? So
She
we even have expectations for people listening to the podcast.
She didn't type the 5 paragraph as it.
Hey, we expect you to respond, and
I'm
we
glad they responded.
yeah, we expect you to respond, and we're not gonna talk bad about them. So, but
Paragraph and I'll keep coming.
exactly. Come on. So That's the MED. You be talking about her.
Hey,
But-
what up, man?
So anyway, my first expectation, I used to participate in these after school programs, and I would always be the last person for somebody to pick me up because my parents just would never like commit to picking me up. And I still want to do my after school programs, and it was just sometimes random people. Like my dad would send random women up there to pick me up sometimes. And I had no idea who they were. It was just like women he was dealing with, or women. Like he was a hairdresser. It was like a woman who like just finished their hair. Like, hey, go pick up my son, bring him back. And right.
Okay.
So that was like my
Using
first
the village.
right. My first expectation was like,
That's what.
damn. I didn't even think about it until like, I guess it happened the first time where it's like, the teacher coming out, is your parent coming? I'm like, yeah, they said it 2 hours ago, but I'm still here. You know what I'm saying? And then I didn't never feel bad until like I was the last motherfucker there, and I'm like, man, I don't like this feeling.
Yeah.
So I think.
So then, was that also your first experience of an expectation not being met and being disappointed by that?
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. Like, so an expectation is associated with a feeling or a need. It's one of these, right? It's a feeling or a need. I separate
want.
those.
Why not a want?
Okay, a want. I'll group my feeling into a want and a want or a need, right? I say, house over your head,
Necessities.
the necessities, right? And a want, it's really a want for me to get picked up, right? They don't have to do that. You know what I'm saying?
They should.
So, I mean, they should, but that's based off of what you think about expectations,
How
right?
old were you? How old are you?
It's middle school, so 6th, 7th grade.
That's supposed to.
Yeah.
Why
So,
do you have a bus?
after school programs ain't no bus for you.
Oh, well,
It's on you.
Walk it. I mean, Morven's only so big.
How
Nigga,
far
I'm in
were
the
you?
next week. Okay, so Morven
the
is
train
small.
next
600 pit.
Next
Take
time.
the train.
My man, he knows. So it's Morven, right? So you go to another city to go to middle school and high school.
Okay.
So you
Oh,
talking
wow.
about walking another city. You talking about 5 hours of walking.
You'll
Talking
be
about
okay.
Forrest Gumping that.
Yes.
new home.
Yeah.
Right. So that was my first expectation of my parents picking me up. So I want to read this comment MED had in here. She says I had a major issue with my father for years because I expected him to be as involved as my mother was, despite divorce. I was 30 once I realized that he doesn't have to meet my expectations. We've been better ever since.
Damn.
This is a situation of expectations affecting you your whole life.
Yep.
She said she was 30 before she figured out that I shouldn't expect so much out of him, right? Because it creates a false pressure that you might not need to have, but sometimes that pressure is real, right? No, go ahead.
I think sometimes we have expectations, and people have a choice to either live up to that expectation or not. And when you read what she said, I can tell that she was able to separate. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming that at a certain point you had to realize and become more aware of whether or not he could choose to do that, and if he had to do that for her.
Hold on now.
Did he have to do that for her?
Hold on. Who is he and who is her now?
Dad.
The dad.
Okay.
Did he have to show up for her? He
Oh, you
could
talking
have
about
if he
Tanika.
wanted to
Yeah.
and
I
had
mean,
the desire to, but sometimes we don't have as much control as we want to over the expectation being met by another person.
because we can't control external
Right,
things
no.
so much, right?
We can't. Not as much as we hope and think we do.
Yeah.
That's where we struggle at sometimes.
And
It's like-
also with relationships, like when you're saying that there, I think that's a problem as well, because a lot of times I know, especially with the male and female relationship, like as far as even relationships, a lot of times we're not told what their expectation is. And a lot of times people assume like, hey, this is what I'm used to. I expect for you to take care of this or do this for me. And then you're upset because your expectations aren't met, but you've never told that person what your expectations are. It's like, well, you should just know. And it's like,
Yes. So when we were talking about when we were talking about expectations, I thought about 3 different ones. I feel like we have common expectations, I feel like we have unrealistic expectations, and I feel like we have unexpressed expectations, in which what I feel like you're talking about right now is we just kind of have these assumptions that this person should know without even telling them, like, Blue, I'm here. You should know my expectations. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works. How do you feel? Like you're the pro, right? So I'm not big on putting expectations out on anybody besides myself.
Okay.
And now this is new. This is like after turning 30 and all this stuff.
Right.
So a lot of things come to people most of the time when they hit their 30s. So, you know, you grow up and you're like, well, people should treat me how I treat them, or you treat people the way you want to be treated. You do something for somebody, you're expecting something to come back and in return. It's like, that's not how things work. So I think you'd be a lot less disappointed if you focus on the expectations of yourself. So how do you feel about that? Is that like a defense mechanism of not being disappointed, or is that like a real thing?
That's a good
Yeah,
question,
it is a
bro.
good question.
Can you repeat that question one more time for the listeners?
The question was basically, is not expressing expectations or putting that on other people a defense mechanism, or is it an actual good strategy or way of life, or, you know, the way you should handle expectations?
Okay. So my thought would be is that it can run both ways. We should have expectations of ourselves, and sometimes it's easier just to have expectation for ourselves, because if I fail it, it's on me. If I don't, I succeed. Boom,
Right.
on to the next thing. Sometimes when we don't expect anything from another person, it's because I don't want to be disappointed, like you said, right? But then also, we don't want to, I think sometimes when we don't give expectations to another person, it's because we don't want the rejection that might come along with that expectation.
Okay.
And so that's another level of defense mechanism for your feelings. So if I didn't expect anything, or if I'm expecting something, you tell me no, because that's just what I'm used to in my relationship, then that means I'm opening myself up to be rejected and pushed back. And so now I'm not gonna get what I want or what I was expecting from this other person. So I think it can go both ways.
I think I use it in both ways.
Use
Very
it
true.
whatever is like
I use it.
advantageous to you.
No, I think in different cases, like, I'm not putting expectations on a person because I don't want to be disappointed.
Right.
And then sometimes, like, I don't want to be rejected in my expectation, or like I think higher of a person than they think of themselves. I'm like, well, I'm not putting myself
Yeah.
through this.
That's dope.
I'm not going to care more than that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
let's jump into and I feel like this is the lighter of the different steps of expectation, like business expectations, right? Those are usually more clear cut, right? You know, if I got a plumber coming over, I expect the plumber to do unclog or undo, but I want to work with pipes and do your thing, guy.
Right.
And then once you leave, I want it to be fixed, right? This is like a basic, simple business expectation, right?
Yes.
So, so like, what happens when businesses or don't meet your expectations, right? Are your expectations out of whack for that business? Or like, how should we like level set our expectations when it comes to businesses? I just want to hear y'all general thoughts about expectations with business. Some people are like super loose with business. Like, I understand you're a person, so you know people make mistakes. And, you know, I ordered tacos, but you gave me a burrito, and you know that could happen. You know, so you know, what do you think about?
Now that's a good
Bring out that burrito.
The mango.
that's a good thing, because with me, I'm in like customer service sales, so that's my profession. So I grade people on that. Like when I walk into a business, I expect you to greet me, because that's what I would do if somebody walked into my establishment or my place of business. I'm gonna greet you. I'm gonna ask you, hey, how are you doing? How may I help you? So if I walk in somewhere and they don't greet me, I don't care where it is, from Chick-fil-A to a thrift store, I'm gonna leave out.
Chick-fil-A
Like it.
gonna greet you.
For sure.
And some of them, I think we hype Chick-fil-A a little bit too much.
I haven't been in a bad one.
Go to Buford Highway. Forget y'all if y'all listen. Buford Highway, they're horrible. And what is that? I think that's Chambly.
Oh,
the
man.
one off. Yeah, they're horrible. And
Y'all
it's
about
sad
to
to
get
say
free
is
Chick-fil-A cards.
L
to KB.
Because they own it.
I'm talking about, and I've had multiple people went in there that, you know, I like, just quick example, just going in there. Hey, on my first day at work, I was getting my my manager at the time some coffee. I don't really drink coffee. he wanted his coffee a certain way. I was like, hey, when I came in there, I said, hey, is this coffee? Is it flavored? Or it was some type of flavor, something you wanted extra in there. Yeah, it's good. Brought it back. Man just told me, hey, man, this one ain't got the flavor in it. I'm mad because I'm like, hey, I went to Chick-fil-A. I asked them, but, then when I go back and tell them they did it wrong, they're like, oh, okay.
You did it wrong.
And unfortunately, and not to get too much off subject, but I don't know if you guys do as well, but I expect kind of more for especially people that look like me. Like I expect you to kind of already know not necessarily know what I want, but to go a little bit above and beyond. Cause like if I go to a black owned business or somebody that looks like me, I expect you to treat me a little bit better. That's why I'm coming to you, because I want to patronize you. I may give you a bigger tip or whatever. I may refer you to somebody else. I expect you to do a little bit more. And when they let you down. A lot of times I feel like when you're going somewhere where it's a lot of people work like you, sometimes your expectations are really low.
So, like, so you're basically saying that there is a race aspect for you, as far as your expectations. You going and there's a black person serving you, you expect a little more service. So it's above your baseline of expectations. Is that what you're saying?
I expect it, but sometimes like the worst customer service that I've received has been from people who look like me.
So you're saying both. You expect more, or you expect less, depending on the
to be told. I would want. Well, the thing is, I would want them to do better, but what I expect is like I may be kind of janky. I may have to kind of.
So you give the business a range. You have a low expectation, like this is as low as it's gonna get, and you have a high expectation as well.
Yeah, but I'm one of those people. If I go in somewhere and I'm not treated fair, I don't care. You may not miss my little $10 or whatever I was gonna pay, but you're not gonna get it. Perfect example is with me. I was I'm getting married, of course. If anybody didn't know, next month. I was looking.
A round of applause.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
bad.
press the button.
Applause. Wait.
Say it again.
Say it again.
Set it
No,
up.
that's shotgun, bro.
Top button.
No, that's the buzzer.
Oh.
You don't
No,
need that
that
one.
buzzer gotta
Top
play
left.
out. I ain't fixed that
top
one
left,
yet.
man.
I gotta
Some
wait for
labels
that.
on there.
We got
I
a
think
pause.
it's
The
the
yellow.
left.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah,
yellow.
yeah.
It's the yellow.
Hold on.
It's the yellow. Oh, okay.
No, it's not.
No, say it again, and then I'm gonna hit it right when you say it.
Yeah,
We're
go
gonna
ahead.
get them together.
We not live.
Hey,
We live.
when you
Yeah,
getting
say it
married?
again.
When you getting married?
I'm getting married next month. God damn.
It's a little early, bro.
Yeah, I still gotta get used to
You
it.
gotta give her this live
Big
thing.
time.
Trash.
Congratulations. Steve.
Thank you.
Hey, that Garetta. Hey, post your comment here. I want to hear about it. We're gonna talk about it. He has a real life experience based on like having the expectation of a business by race.
Okay.
So yeah, but keep talking.
No, so I was looking for a tailor for my suit. I wanted a custom suit. I'm like, hey, this is Atlanta. It should be very easy for me to find. People get married every month. For me to find a African American or a tailor that looks like me. But it was hard because there's nowhere to go. There's no app, no Facebook or anything, no Google for me just to find. And when you Google stuff like that, sometimes stuff comes, but a lot of times it's like it's not what you need. So I was able to go on Instagram, put in a couple hashtags. I found a couple people, sent them some messages. Couple people responded, but one guy, I liked his work, and I really liked his because he was, a lot of times, with the black-owned business, a lot of times it's kind of them kind of doing everything. So, my expectations is I didn't expect him to respond back right away because I'm like, hey, I know you probably, this ain't a phone, with IG, you kind of got to open it up and see the message. So I was like, all right, cool. But it's like when they responded, everything was so slow. And it's like, bro, I'm talking about spending like bread with you, and you slow with it. Not really organized and things. It was already hard enough for me to find them because I basically had to do like different searches. But the guy that I ended up going with, I apologize, bro, I forgot your name. I think it's like Bespoke. I don't know how to say it.
We can post it in the chat.
Yeah,
later.
I'll post it there later. But it was good. Came to the house. He was good. But I sent the message to like 10 people. And it's like, if you're trying to spend that amount of money with somebody, especially somebody who looks like you, and you're trying to spend that money with them for a service, and this is what you do, this is your job. And it's like, a lot of times I feel like when people are dealing with people that look like them, they may not be as professional as how they would be with somebody who didn't look like them.
So let me ask you this. So you're this is what I'm getting from what you're saying. You're saying you have an expectation based on the race, also how much money you spend. because you kind of brought up a point about you spending money at that, right? So when you said that, I didn't be like, okay, there's an amount of money you spend where the expectation increases a little bit more because I'm willing to pay this amount of money. So it depends on the money amount too.
That's that way regardless of race. Like if I'm paying an amount for a service, I expect for the service to be top notch. But just me being in customer, it doesn't cost you anything to be just nice. That's your brand. Your brand is the most important thing that you own.
Yeah.
So I'm always like that with everybody. But I was really disappointed in how many people I hit up who were supposed to be professionals, and people either didn't respond or never really said anything. And I was like, this is kind of the bad connotation. And I think, Kelvin, you could kind of add on to that. The reason why sometimes people don't want to work with people who look like them, and a lot of times it's us.
Why'd you say my name?
I mean, because you
look. Why'd you say my name? Watch this. This is what they think of me.
What's the story?
This is what they think of me.
Kelvin don't like dealing with black-owned business a lot of time.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
this is what you think of me.
Tell me if I'm wrong. I'll let you get your rebuttal. But with me, I think
I'm waiting like
not right now.
But look, and it's bad. Like I said, not to get too much off subject, but I want to just talk about that a little bit, especially since we have a black professional here. A lot of times, people think subpar of the service or might not be that good, and they'll try to lowball people with the pay or try to get the hookup. Like especially when it's people like us. It's like you can't want the hookup and want the best service that it can give as well, but we also have to make sure that, when we have the opportunity, I'm all for, I think what we probably really need to start doing is when you have a bad experience with that, like that with somebody who looks like you, and I've had to tell somebody that before when I've walked into a place, is when you have an issue like that, especially if I feel like it's up to us, when you have somebody that looks like you, tell them. Like, hey, you should have probably spoke, or you could have did this better, or that really wasn't that professional for you to wait 3 weeks to respond to me.
Okay.
I hop off my little high horse, but that's just
he
me.
was on it.
Yeah.
He was on it. I said, all right, I want to let you cook, but I was like, okay.
I'm very passionate about customer service.
Yeah,
so,
he is about that customer service now. So can y'all talk to me about how do y'all feel about expectation with business? Like you touched on a little bit as far as like, I'm assuming you were talking about business partners because you made a comment about expecting the best out of them, and they don't even expect it out of themselves. So why put that pressure on yourself? So can you talk to me about like how you, especially in the music business, and you made a comment before about working with people and whatever. Like how does this expectation work there?
Yeah, well, you shouldn't have any. Like that's what I'm. That's my way of life when it comes to business and in music. Is like you don't know who really wants to do it, and sometimes the person who really wants to do it doesn't have the talent to do it. The people who have the talent to do it don't really want to do it. You know what I mean? It's
like a cycle.
That's what I'm saying. You don't really know what you're gonna get. So yes, I hear somebody and I say that person's really talented. I need to work with them. I'm going to send them some stuff. I send them some tracks and I'm like, just pick one and then we could work on it. Yeah. And then
no expectations.
There's nothing.
So, okay.
So I'd rather not have those.
Right.
But going back to former life, consulting life, that kind of business, and you can speak to this too. The expectation is strictly professional. It's like, there's not a lot of friendships there.
None at all.
Not a lot of friendships at all. I say that. But, it's like, hey, what are we doing? What are we working on? That's the goal. And that's the goal every day. We talk about it every morning. Talk about it right before we leave. It's like that's the goal. So there's no expectation other than getting done what is supposed to be done.
So doing your work and getting it done don't matter how.
Don't matter how or how long. Like we know when we want it to be done, but that doesn't occur. So it's about who's going to get it done, who's going to get credit for it being done, and who's actually doing it.
Credit, yeah, that's important.
Expectation of credit can get you in trouble.
Who meets the expectation? That's a big one, right?
Not a lot of people meet the expectation, but two developers could carry an entire project.
Yeah, but that's going to go across all the different relationships we're going to talk about today. Who meets the expectations? Because that's super important, right?
Yeah, and I think, again, it falls on, okay, well, you can set your own expectations and meet them. If you give somebody else expectations, it could be the VP, or it can be, you know, the young, you know, developer or young BA that you're trying to get to a certain level. It doesn't matter, because if they don't meet it and you're disappointed, not them.
It comes back to your feelings and how you feel about whatever the goal we're trying to accomplish. Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
All right, Amy, I want to hear it. We definitely, this is the time to listen, people.
Right.
Listeners.
It's going to be a better answer.
Yeah, this is where you
not
get
a
better
better answer.
answers. Wait, no. Let's not discount what you're about to say. We just be talking some shit, okay? We know some things. We early 30s. The fellas, I don't know how old Amy is, but we early 30s, and we got life experience. But it don't compare to, she got book and life experience. So this is the time to listen, you know what I'm saying? Tanisha, we're going to get into that comments right after this, right? Because anytime I see 3 lines, I'm like, that's a real shit. So, Amy, so talk to me about businesses, like your expectations. We're talking about expectations when it comes to businesses right now. So this is the start of the expectation conversation, you know, because usually it's clear cut, usually when it comes to business. But now we saw what Basic said, there's a race element there and an amount of spend limit there to hit his expectations. Drills here, Will the Drill, who he does it.
Sorry, Will.
He likes to keep expectations low, so he doesn't end up in disappointment. And we're about to hear Amy's answer here.
Oh, before Amy, before you add on there, because
Back on the soapbox, okay?
no, I mean, this is geared to can you also talk about, because like I said, you're in therapy, and talk about the expectations, because you have a business, expectations that people will put on you. I'm sure people come to see you and fix me.
Oh my gosh, therapists do not fix anybody.
So, okay, so
hold on.
So wait. So you
Don't
want
tell
her?
them that.
So
you
you
lose a lot of business.
So okay, so
We can't fix. We can help you. See, when people,
let me set this up for people. So I want to hear your answer as far as your expectations of other. No, this is a good transition. I'm glad you brought this up. Yeah. So I want to hear your point of view from your expectations from other businesses, whatever business relationship you want to describe, and then I want to hear about how he's saying the expectation that people want of you, as far as in the therapy. Like, I want you to fix me. When I leave, I'm paying fucking, my company's paying whatever. I want to be fixed by these fucking 5 sessions. Fuck all that bullshit. Fix me.
You want me to start with the first one?
I want you to
So
start
my
with your
expectations of other businesses, I do have expectations of other businesses, and that's because I do want great customer service. And if I don't have those expectations, I'm just going to deal with whatever if I don't have them. And so in response to you, when you say that I just don't walk in with them or you have low expectations, I think that it's important to have something that you have a standard that you want to be able to deal with. That you want to be able to walk into that real business relationship with, or else you're just not going to go back, right? Okay, done with, cool. Go somewhere where they do meet your expectations as a business.
All right.
So for me, yes, I do have expectations. And when they aren't met, then I make a decision from there or based on what I want to do. Right. They don't have to change what they don't think is important to change. Now, I can also offer them, like you said, feedback, and I try to do that more often. Giving feedback so they can have the opportunity to change and maybe meet somebody else's expectation. As far as me, when I said therapists do not fix people, we do not have a magical wand. You don't walk in there and we say, "Hey, why are you here?" and we don't go, "Do-do-do-do-do-do."
That's what we expect. I kind of expect
you know what
that.
I mean? It's not the case, and it also depends on what you are bringing to the table. So I cannot help you change anything that you won't put all out in the forefront, right? So for me, when I'm in therapy, in the first session, I always say, okay, we're going to talk about your expectations because I need to know what you're expecting of me so I can make sure that I'm a good fit for you. Right. So when we talk about therapist and client, if you're expecting me to fix you and you don't want to say anything except for, yeah, my girlfriend just blew up on me because I stepped out, I need you to fix it.
Damn. That sounds like a real ass statement. Like, this is my statement. Like, this is where I'm starting. Like, you can see all the different paths you can go down, but it's like, this is what I got. Nigga.
This is what I got here. It's like, and it's kind of like, well, no, because a component, it's so many different components of it. So when you talked about race and where and who and what, where, why, all that stuff is important when it comes to me knowing if I can meet the expectations of the person that's sitting in front of me. You want some water?
Go around. Can't just be
okay.
Wasting. Can't be wasting Deer Park or willy nilly, man.
So yeah, that's when it comes to me, and especially with my business, it's important for me to know what is this other person, other business wanting of me, because if I can't meet your expectations, I'm gonna have to let you know so that you can not be disappointed by what I don't bring to the table. So all the information is out there. You've expressed the things that you want from me. For me, I want to be able to give good customer service and give a good service, but I also need to know what is it that you're looking for.
Okay. So and this is how we make better businesses as far as, you know, and we're moving on from the business side of this after this, but like, is this how we make better businesses by wanting them to be more, you know, these are my expectations. This is what I expect of you, Walmart. I want to go to a big brand, right? Mm-hmm. This is what I expect of you, Walmart. And if you don't achieve that, I'm not going to give you my business, right? And this goes into the cancel culture where I'm going to cancel you if you don't. Yeah. That's basically what we're saying, right? If you don't meet my expectations on a humanity level, R. Kelly, other people, you know, business level, Walmart, you know, you got one line open in the whole store.
Yeah.
Bro, this is not meeting my expectations. So is that what we're saying most of the time in cancel culture when we're like, you don't meet my expectations, this is a problem?
I mean, it's not a new culture. We just renamed it.
Yeah. So that's all we're doing.
It's just boycotting things. I mean, that's basically what
that's
it is.
what it is.
But yeah, you spend your money, you expect something. If you're going to Walmart, you don't expect the best customer service, but you expect the cheapest price on the product that you're looking for.
Is it the cheapest?
So it should be. I mean, if you compare, like at Walmart, I know people hustle. They go to Walmart, they buy stuff, they sell it online. So I mean, if you think online's the cheapest price, then that hustle wouldn't exist. So they pretty cheap.
I don't think it is, and I like that example that you give, because I feel like now is, you know, the boycotting or cancel. We're canceling people. I feel like a lot of times it happens with, and not saying it shouldn't. Like we doing it as a culture with people that look like us. We're quick to cancel them out, but not with others who continue to treat us wrong. We could continue to support the nail salon that when you come in, they don't even speak to you, and they got posters of people that look to you on the wall all the time, and they won't even talk to you or hire anybody in the store that looks like you, but you still go there and spend your money there all the time. Like, and they don't give two craps about you at all. Like, just like with Walmart. Walmart does give horrible customer service. They have cut out all the middleman, and it is very convenient for you to be able to go to a Walmart. But their customer service is horrible. They never have any lines open, and you know it's going to be horrible. You know you're going to wait in line forever. They're going to have 40, you know, no shade to the people that work at Walmart, but y'all know what it is. You'll see 40 people in there working, stocking, but stuff still won't be on the shelves.
All the shade.
And then they'll have one person checking out people in the checkout line. You'll see somebody slow in there that shouldn't be in there. Like, but we'll be quick to, you know, oh, somebody looks like us. Oh, you treat them wrong. I'm not never messing with them again. It looks like it, but these. Hit
that comment too, man. I think it's in line with what you're saying right now.
You know I don't read.
Okay. Okay.
Brittany Bowens. Hey, boo.
Yeah. So
we highlighted.
You know Brittany?
Yeah, I know Brittany.
Are you a Delta?
No.
Oh.
All right. So we got Brittany Bowens. What's up? Welcome to the Words of KV podcast. So she says, as a business owner, it's very important I ask every client what their needs are and what they expect to make sure I'm the right fit for them. Consultations are so important, right? Consultations is you really figuring out what their expectations are. And Tanisha Hall, what's up, Tanisha? Good to see you here. Speaking of Walmart, we order our kids milk, etc., and their shipping took so long. So let them know.
You ordering the kids milk from Walmart?
Maybe it was powdered.
Yeah,
Is that
should be
better?
powdered. Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
supposed to be
I don't know.
Like
I don't have
formula?
kids. I don't
I
know.
don't know
I
about
don't
that,
either.
Tanisha. You know they be
I'm
putting
not
stuff
really
in
familiar.
Walmart.
I'm trying to help Paul.
All right.
I'm
She
sorry.
said we let them know, and I'm sure other people did, and now their shipping is like one day. So
Yeah.
this is an instance where you letting someone know your expectations, complaining, it affects the business, and it gives you a better product as a result. So I think it's important for us to communicate. I want to go into how we communicate our expectations.
Oh yeah,
we should. We should talk
people-
about
That was
that.
one of the
People-
things you mentioned.
Yeah, because
Right.
people don't.
I
That's
think-
why I was saying in the beginning how people have those expectations, but not ever let them be known.
Absolutely.
Like
Okay.
people
I mean,
will
even-
complain all the time. Walmart, you suck.
Oh, everybody says Walmart, you suck.
But
Yeah,
they'll
but they
never
go to
say nothing
Walmart.
to it.
So let me ask a question
Amy,
just
yeah.
to kind of start off with there. Self-awareness piece. But the question is, if you ask yourself, how and when do you express your own expectations to someone else? Why you do that?
Okay. If somebody else want to start? I made a sound effect, but I didn't really want to start. I'll start. I'll start.
What's the question?
So she sent. Repeat your question.
Because I was reading the
everybody-
response.
How do you
she was
express
mad
your
because
own-
she was talking about sealed formula, which I understood what she was
See?
saying. I understood what she
got
was
you.
saying.
Okay. My question is, how do you express your own expectations to someone?
Okay, let me start because I didn't even answer the previous question, which is fine. But so, how do I express my? So I just began this expression journey, right? So I'm at the point now where I'm like, used to be like females, right? Y'all about to get all these emotions. Now I'm like, all my niggas getting every emotion I got, my nigga. I'm sorry. I was talking to my brother 20 minutes about how he felt about this girl he went on a date because he just didn't know how to talk about the emotions. And I was like, okay, well, let's wait. Let's see what you come up with.
You made him talk about it.
Yes. Because it was uncomfortable for him to try to figure out how he felt. He's like, oh, it just felt, it was something about it. I said, well, let's identify what that something is. And I thought that was important for him. So all y'all niggas getting this shit now. I'm sorry.
I believe you.
For real.
Basics
if you-
look, getting past that
look,
around.
Oh, they be
Skip
talking talking shit about me all the time. Like, oh, I see you a feminist now. No, this like, yeah, nigga, I'm giving you everything. So so in my previous life, you know, I looked at everything as more so a game. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm looking at this like a game, I'm trying to manipulate the variables, right, to be in my favor. So this is how I always came at life, right? Even in like in college and stuff, I used to think about how can I manipulate these numbers to be in my favor to get what I want. You know what I'm saying? And that was like, you know, looking back, it was like a real toxic way to like look at all your relationships. I mean, this is every single relationship. It's not like just girls. This is males. This is like co-workers and all this shit. You know, like dead ass, bro. When I first met you, I was probably in that space where I'm like, okay, how can I manipulate this situation where it's
manipulating.
more advantageous to
No,
me?
I knew what he was doing. There's a whole bunch of them doing the same thing.
Bruh, look, Tanisha know what's popping. You know what I'm saying? So I would so it was important for me to get information, right? I need information out of you because the more information I have, the more power I have. You know what I'm saying? It's really manipulative and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, communicating my expectations was not a thing, right? Because that's me showing my cards.
Right, you couldn't.
No, fuck that. Why I'm gonna show you my cards, bro? You know, I want to know your cards, and then I can work backwards from there to get what I want.
I show you my whole hand. You give me one card that you have.
One card, my nigga. Hey, here you go.
So-
Two of spades.
Yep.
No, two of clubs. Two of spades. Good.
So you didn't up front. You didn't express any type of
Never.
expectations.
Never. Never. Now I'm in a situation where, you know, like I will meet someone or something like that, and I'm like, okay, I'm at a position where I know it's time for us to talk about expectations because I feel away, right? And most people use terms like "I feel away." That means I don't know the exact words how I feel, or I don't want to say the exact words, but there are words you want to say with "feel away." You know what I'm saying? So now, but when I get to that point, I want to talk about those things. I want to say, because I know the ambiguity that comes with gray areas. So I don't want to create no gray areas, bro. Cause that leads me into back that play shit. I'm playing blah blah blah, manipulating people. I don't want to do that shit. You know what I'm saying? So when I feel like it's a gray area, and I feel like I lived in gray areas for a long time, my nigga.
So you trying to get rid of it?
Fuck them gray fucking areas, my nigga. Like, let's just be in black or white. You not fucking with me or you are. Fuck that shit, man.
That just comes with
bruh, so much peace, bruh. So much fucking peace, man. That's my answer for that shit.
Is that Be My Peace thing?
I don't
I think that's
know.
different.
Oh, okay.
But fucking, it's all peace. Namaste on the motherfucking Words of KB podcast, man. So who else?
It sounds like you are saying that you didn't have a need for expressing it. Expectation
No,
didn't play a role at all.
I never did.
It wasn't important.
Never.
Who cares if I had them or anyone else needed to know them?
Nope.
It was just gonna be about me.
I was all listen. I'm going through the X series. We got a therapy series with Amy, and we got the X series too, where I bring on exes, right? And I'm gonna explain exactly where I was in those relationships, and you can tell I started most of those relationships with no expectations. And this is not the positive side of no expectation, meaning I don't want to be disappointed. Right. It was no expectations, meaning I didn't establish any standards. You know what I mean? So it's a negative part of expectations where you don't establish standards, and then it's whatever you taking. Now, this ain't nothing against the girl who comes on the podcast. Yeah. She is an upstanding citizen. I think she's awesome. You know what I'm saying? You don't like her. Lord. So I don't even tell them who I'm bringing on.
Cool.
Right?
Oh, my
and they got experience with all my exes.
Okay.
And I don't even tell them, but Tuesday we got a new ex coming on. So, but when you had surprised you.
Somebody gonna be
he don't like
stand in.
He don't like this one. I'll just say that much. But anyway, it's the fact of there was a situation or a time where I didn't have expectation, and that negatively affected my emotional being, because I was just like, I would just say this is fine to everything. Oh, this is fine. This is our normal. You know what I'm saying? And that shit wasn't fucking normal. But I would accept it. They would say, "Oh, Kelvin, you always being weird shit." Or, y'all say, Kelvin be on some weird shit. And it was really me not setting expectations, and it don't get fucked up to a year and a half, and you're like, fuck.
Dang, should have had some expectations.
That's my answer. I'm sorry. Let me shut up. Sorry.
Everybody clear on that?
No.
Okay. Period, point blank right there.
Well, I guess that kind of makes us dive into the other point is, are those expectations just based on feelings, or are they like, we're talking about, like, is it financial stuff, or is it based off emotion?
I think once you are older and like once you're like trying to be more whole, it's all of there's no mix, right? It's I need my needs, my need expectations met, and my wants expectations. Like, that's what you want, right?
So let's make sure we define it so everybody knows, because I think everybody thinks needs are things, these are like my, no non-negotiables. Wants are, hey, I would like that, but it's cool if, it don't happen.
For some.
Yeah.
Some, they wants need to be met just like the need.
Because
that's when you get in that gray area where wants and needs.
But that's that area, to me, that is the unrealistic expectations, because all of your wants are not going to be met in a relationship.
Yeah, that's why they end.
When?
All right.
How?
Well, you need to talk to, not to put anybody on blast, but you need to talk to, I feel like a lot of sisters out there now, they have some unrealistic needs for.
I think males do too.
And I want you to listen what I'm saying.
I heard
so I want
on
you
the podcast.
I
was listening.
So I want you to speak. I want you to speak specifically. Don't just say needs. I want you to speak specifically. Name some needs that you think men expect.
We men or ladies?
Whatever you was talking about.
Oh, me? I was talking about ladies.
No, it talks specifically so we can have a conversation.
So
what's the unrealistic expectation from a female
that I think is unrealistic? It's Kelvin's shirt is a perfect example of it. Kelvin, what does your shirt say?
Okay. So I wear this as I don't want to explain this shirt because the group chat knows about it. Shout out to the group chat. Every Thursday and Sunday. What's up, Jameson, man? So this
Just read your shirt.
inspired by-
What's
It
it say?
says,
What's it
"Let's
say?
go Dutch."
Okay.
my
Everybody-
nigga. I should have put that at the bottom. By my nigga. Let's go Dutch. God damn it.
Perfect example. Everybody knows what Dutch is. If you don't, that's when you guys both pay for your own meals. I feel like this would just make dating so much more easier because it would cut off that BS that sometimes, you know, ladies not really feeling nobody and they just want to go out to get a free meal. We have to put that out there that some but not all. Some women just go on dates to get a free meal. They know they're not feeling them, and that's like, man, I'm finna just sit through this and I'm gonna order this, you know, shrimp and lobster, and get through it and never answer his call again.
She laughing. Look, she laughing.
You know,
I mean,
listen.
because it's true. People,
Okay.
people
Thank you.
some women do have that expectation.
And I wanted to hear you say that, you know, some of your friends do this.
and
That's
you
what my
have
friends do that.
you have done it
Yeah, you
before.
can tell
I have
on
done
yourself
that
too.
before.
Okay,
That's
yeah,
why
thank
I
you.
don't need pressure.
I
can
really
do-
thank you
Thank
for that. Because look, she passed my test.
I've
right?
done that before.
Okay.
But then also I don't.
Oh, I'm not done
necessarily
cooking.
care to-
I'm not
Oh, no,
done
you're
cooking. I'm not done cooking.
Okay, well,
That
finish
was-
your meal.
Yeah. that's
the
one
meal.
of those things, and I just feel like because the combatant to that is people like, oh, you know, my time is precious, this and this and that. And it's like, well, just like your time is precious, that male's time is precious. And I think to make sure it's fair for everyone, when you go on that first date, regardless of who asks who, it needs to be a mutual thing. Hey, you paying for your food, I'm paying for mine, so there's no, oh, I feel like I should get this, or there's really no expectation. We're just gonna go try to enjoy each other's time. If we don't, we can just leave and I can finish eating my food, or you can get a to-go plate or whatever you like to do. But I feel like that would stop so many different things because a lot of people are both getting their time wasted.
So are you saying that people should not walk in with the expectation of another person paying for their meal?
Yeah, no.
That everybody should walk into it having the expectation that I'm gonna pay for my own meal.
Yeah.
I want to say
big-
because my thing about that is that I feel like that's a personal expectation.
It
that
should
you
be
want.
the standard.
I understand it can be a standard, but there are some men that are out there that do not mind doing that.
No,
and I
no.
think that we are speaking to a population of people who want to use and misuse or manipulate, right? That gray area, other people. So what you're speaking to is definitely those people that may fall into a gray area, or those people that have an expectation that if I'm going to date someone, they are going to pay for my meal. Now, whether or not you choose to or not, or you fall for that or not, or you ask that beforehand before going on this date, that's up to you to choose to go with that or not.
But my issue with this is when I say this should be the standard, meaning anything over this should be looked at as a good thing.
Okay.
Right? If I choose to pay for the whole meal, that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Because this is above the standard. Right now, the standard is I pay for your meal. You know what I mean? This is the standard when it should be, okay, this is you going a little above the standard. And that's fine. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying. The standard should be Dutch. That's what the shirt is for. The standard should be I don't know you. I might hate you. I might not like you at all.
But that's that's manipulating the way of, I won't say they're manipulating the way, but when I hear that, it's kind of like, are we going to change the dynamics of what it means to go dating? Is this going to be like a universal switch and change?
It's changing right now. We just don't identify the changes, but everything's changing as far as like pay and how we, and I don't want to get off topic, and this is getting off topic.
Yeah.
Right? But, the pay, we're getting similar pay rates now. Like most men, like a lot of women are more educated than men now. Black women, I'm speaking black women.
That was hella.
That was the case when we were in college.
Black women are more educated, but now they're catching up with the jobs, and they're getting the similar jobs, and they're getting the similar pay. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it makes sense to like, this is the standard.
I see what you're
now
saying.
you can pay every time. I never been on a date where a girl paid for me. You know what I'm saying? But online,
Ever?
Never. I went, but I have
Not even like a follow up.
No, I never
like
been
a first
on
date.
I never been on a date where a girl like paid for me fully. Now I have a girl. I do have.
Why are you laughing?
I have been on. I don't know how he's
Tell the
laughing,
truth.
but I do have a
Really?
girl who's like ahead of the game, who she pays for a portion of the date, and she don't know how many points she get with that.
Tip?
What is that though? Yeah, explain that. What is a like? Y'all go out to eat, right?
She get the drinks or something?
Yeah, she do the
I don't know.
That's the thing,
She
that's
just,
getting
she
the
just
bill
finds
for
a way to pay for something.
Okay.
I
put
don't
a
know how she does it. She just
Have y'all
dollar
gone
on the
on
table?
dates and expected the woman to pay for?
Never
never expected
never expect. But it is, I'm telling ladies, we putting y'all on game. Reach for it.
reach for the goddamn check.
Reach
That's
for
all
it.
you do.
And most
Sometimes that's enough though. We just
you
want to see
you reach.
Bruh, if
the
you
thing
reach,
with the thing with me
I'ma
is
take it anyway.
just like
Yeah.
we have this need, and I feel like it's off subject, but not really, because it all falls into expectations. Because I think that's the expectation now is like, you're the man, you ask the woman out on a date, you're supposed to pay.
Not necessarily. You might not even ask her. She might have hinted at the date.
She may hint.
Women
but at the
hint
end
a lot. They
but
don't
listen,
ask. They just say,
But listen, at the
"What
end
you
of the
doing
day,
Saturday?"
But at the end of the day, that's what women say. Hey, you asked me on a date. You're supposed to pay. But the thing is nowadays, especially because there's so many, like, you know, successful women that are attractive that should have not necessarily significant others.
You always say that, bro.
but
You're going to get in trouble saying that. Why do you say they should have significant others?
No, I didn't say should. Sorry, not should have significant others,
wanna
but
say that.
Thank you.
people that are, you know, would be, and males too, that would be good catches on the market, but don't have anyone, and it's because they're waiting for someone to ask them. And we're in that culture now where it's like, hey, if you know,
What
you
do
want to
mean
be.
waiting for somebody to ask? I just want to ask. I want
know-
you to clarify.
Well, sometimes, you know, people say, "Oh, I can't find someone," and you know, maybe it's because I don't know what the
They
reason
might be in the
is.
wrong places and all
Wrong time. Maybe the male may be, you know, intimidated by them because of what they do or how much they make or blah blah blah, and that's a totally different conversation.
true.
So you're saying the woman is waiting to be approached?
Nah, I
Because-
feel like he's saying the man is waiting.
No, I'm saying that women say the guy should pay because, hey, you approached me and asked me. But the thing is that most of the case is that that's how it happens.
Oh, he has to.
Even though the
I got you.
young
I
lady
got what
may
you're
be
saying.
attracted to you, she may not come out to you.
I got
Like,
you.
That was totally different. Like with my fiance, like she came up and asked me, and it kind of caught me off guard, but I liked it kind of because it was like, oh, you know,
different.
It was different. You
Yeah.
know,
I get what you're
switch the
saying.
swag up.
I got you.
You know, but I just feel like if we, you know, we're changing the standard, you know, with the whole toxic masculinity thing about everything, why are we not changing the standard with that? Like that's not a conversation that people want to have. People are like, this is what happens.
Yeah,
I want it. Just like whether I have, everybody's all for making the world a better place for, you know, nieces, nephews, daughters, sons, whoever. And I don't want my son to think, oh, just because you asked her on a date, you have to pay. Because I know it's people that take advantage of people.
I think
and
if you
don't-
ask, you got to pay.
Well, the thing is, I don't.
But I get what you mean. You saying that
I
the
don't-
standard is for the man to pay.
But I
mean
think-
the man to ask.
Yeah,
So,
but see, I
so
don't-
it's like you putting yourself in the same position because I have to ask anyway.
Yeah.
So I have to pay.
So your
You know
one
what I'm
step is
saying?
2 steps.
It's-
Step one is
your-
asking.
your
Step
one-
2 is paying for it.
Your
if you
one
have to
step
ask.
is 2. And it's not. I get that it's not fair.
Listen, that's
I
what
get
I'm
that.
saying. And I feel like nowadays women are being bold enough. They taking, you know, control of their careers, their bodies, and, you know, not saying none of this is negative, but they're doing that. If you like somebody, don't just sit and be like, oh, I can't find nobody good. You see somebody who might be a good catch, y'all go out and have a good time and figure out. Don't wait to be approached. Like, you know, you want to be that strong woman that comes from being strong. You know, you step up
I
and
think it's-
Strong or weak, just say how you feel, bro. That's how I feel.
Nah, it can't
if
be
you
weak.
like me, say it. And we
people are attracted. People are attracted to strength. Like ain't nobody.
I was just
attracted
about to
no
say, I
weak.
think it's encouraging for you to identify that a woman too can approach a male and ask and show interest.
I'll be right back.
I think it's important.
Your butt hurt from this little seat.
Yeah, you should get better seats.
Mine do. Shit, I need a pillow.
Next time I come, we need better seats.
Sorry.
the
I think
cushion.
it's important that women do it, but then there's also women that are not going to choose to do that just because they want to stay traditional. They don't really want to shift that part of the standard to go.
What?
Yo, if you fall,
die.
I'm nervous.
Everybody will know.
Some people don't want to shift that standard, and some people don't want to make the standard what's comfortable for everybody else. Choice whether or not they want to do that or not. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks and it don't make sense, but You know.
I mean, but don't y'all feel like that would be like, because the expectation is, because people a lot of times, like, people don't like to, like, I'm one of those people, I don't like people to owe me anything. And a lot of times the standard is like, okay, if I pay for your drink or I pay for your dinner, you kind of owe me something. And that's just natural when you do something for somebody. Because would you just randomly pay for somebody's meal? Like, if you just walked into a restaurant, would you just be like,
No.
Not even just a gift?
I'll probably give in a different way. I'll give somebody money on the street before.
No, not somebody homeless. Just somebody you met that you said hello to. Would you just pay for their meal?
I don't think so.
Yeah, somebody that you don't know at all.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Would you, Amy?
Pay for somebody random?
Yeah.
Only if the Lord let me.
You know the Lord. What the Lord gonna say?
He
gonna stop you.
He'll.
Have you ever done it? Like, not nobody homeless. Just walked into a restaurant. Here
got
you
you.
go. I got your food.
No, but I have been at the gas station.
I ain't talking about no gas. We talking about meals.
I didn't pay for the gas, but I paid for like 3 kids, little snacks.
That's kids. I'm talking about a grown, able-bodied adult. Because you're not going on no date with no homeless person, are you?
No.
So I'm talking about the same scenario. Have you ever, you've never just walked up and that's what we do when you go on a date with somebody, you don't know them, y'all don't know nothing about each other, and I'm expected that regardless of how it goes, when the check comes, it's going to be slid to me and I got to pay.
But did you not walk into that situation knowing that may be the expectation?
It shouldn't be, though, just because
but
it's
did
good.
you choose to walk into that situation
Listen,
knowing that's not the standard?
But listen, that's what I don't like, because
is that a yes?
Because people, I'm not saying, because that's how I was raised too. You open the door, but I'm one of those people, I've always been fighting that back since I was young, and I tell my mom that. And I
read that comment after you're done.
Oh Lord, y'all know I don't
Okay,
read.
I'll read after you're done.
But
Go ahead.
Finish up.
no,
No, I don't read.
No, but I
Right,
fought,
Amaris, that's right.
I fought my mom on that, because my mom was like one of those people. She was like, always open the door and all this stuff like that. And I'm one of those people, whether you're a lady or male or whoever, if I open the door for you, you don't say excuse me, or no, sorry, not excuse me. If you don't say thank you, I'm gonna say thank you or you welcome.
Oh, so you throwing like
the
shade
side,
at it.
Yeah.
That's the expectation, like, to get something.
When I open the door,
this door and I expect
you
you to say
welcome.
thank you.
Because
That's your expectation. You expect them to say thank you.
But the old school way is like, okay, you pay for this meal. When you do something for somebody, it's a human thing. You expect something back. So people are like, oh, when you buy a drink for somebody, you usually expect like, okay, I'm buying you the drink to either show some type of control over you, or it's just like to show you, hey, I can
paying
do
for the
this.
time.
Yeah, you're paying for the time, but it's like, what if she don't want to give you time? She was like, that's okay. So this is a mutual meeting, because even though I asked you out, you still had to make time in your schedule for me to come to. So both of our times are being quote unquote wasted or used. So let's just, hey, you hungry? You can eat. Or you know how women are like, oh, if you ain't got enough money to pay for my food, you shouldn't be asking me.
Really
to
condescending
anyway.
to say, because if I use
that
it,
goes right into that.
So
comment.
let me read this comment
For
first,
sure.
and then I want you to respond. Amy.
Okay.
Right, and this transition perfectly into expectations in romantic
Who
relationships.
the hell is this?
I don't know, Josie, but we about to know. We about to get to
Hey,
know. Is that
Josie.
okay?
That's your people's?
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
this is
Josie?
new viewers. Hey, Miss
Hey,
Howard.
Josie,
I miss you, girl.
Miss Howard, we miss you too, and we just met you. That's my expectation right there. So let me read your comment. For people who date with the intention of getting married, this is gonna be a bigger conversation, but we'll cover it as much as we can here. Their expectation is that of a man, but what they're looking for in terms of a husband, a provider and whatnot, which for some women means taking care of things financially.
That's
now,
a good point.
this goes into a lot of
I gotta touch on this.
okay.
got
All right,
something
so
real?
I'm
for
so
sure.
Will, I'm gonna let you do that, and then I want her to respond to Ian, and then we're gonna transit into romantic, because this goes perfectly into expectations in romantic relationships.
Right.
Because to her, what she's saying is she expects a man that she plans to get married to be able to handle things financially. This is a big
Old
expectation.
school. It's old school.
It's old. It's old school, and we use this old school term to say that it's not modern as actually. I feel like we use it old school to say that this is from a prior period that's
That is
not
Stone
current.
Age,
It's
yeah.
Stone Age, but we still use this. That's not modern. So
Can
I
you
wanna
cook, Miss Howard?
Look, and that's the thing. You can challenge that with, okay, you want me to be old school, but are you old school?
No.
Are you gonna listen when I?
No, but it's not in totality.
But that's what I'm saying. It is in totality.
No, it's enough to get a free meal.
But it's exactly. But
not
that's what I mean by it's totality. I need you to pay for this meal in order for me to see you as a husband candidate, and,
Yeah,
that's,
and that's-
big.
I mean,
that's
the
a
first-
lot of expectation. That. But go ahead with your comments,
The
bro.
first piece, like people don't date with the intention of getting married. Like we're talking about first dates. I don't
People
want,
do date
I don't want.
for that intention.
Who?
No, like
There
all
are
well,
ways.
I'm gonna
This
tell
is a
you-
male perspective, right?
I'm gonna
So-
tell
so-
you my
no, no, no.
perspective.
No, tell
Yeah,
them.
long term, yeah.
No,
long
tell
term,
them.
absolutely.
Tell them your relationship status first because that's important.
Married.
How many years?
Going on 9.
Damn.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So this is what I'm gonna say based on that. A first date, I'm not thinking about marriage at all. Probably the third date, I'm not thinking about marriage at all. Like the first couple of dates is, do I even like you as a person? All right, that's the first couple of dates. Now we 2 months into dating is, should I call you my girlfriend?
2 months?
2 months.
Okay.
2 months. Like you thinking like let me
My
explain
bad.
the 2 months. Like unless you're going on a date every weekend.
Wait. Every
I'm-
weekend? What
I
is
mean, that's what I'm saying. 2 months. Like in 2 months, I know if I want you to be my girl or not.
2 months?
2 months, I know.
Kelvin, quick. I'm with
I know.
you, bro.
I know. 2 months is good.
yeah.
Now, but I'm saying
That's
I'm
short.
I'm
Shit, I
still
waited
not-
6.
We still
I was on that, bro.
we're still not even
time.
thinking about engagement in 2 months. I'm
Now,
thinking
talk
about calling you my girlfriend.
what's engagements? Explain that with people.
And, like to be married.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. Like the
engagement.
first,
Okay, I
the
got
first, the first thing she's talking about is when dating with being, getting married in mind is like, okay, well, that's a wow. It's a process first. It's wanting to see you again, and then it's wanting to see you a lot.
you. Yeah.
Then it's wanting you to be my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Then it's like, okay, well, do I see myself marrying this person?
Okay.
This is after being a girlfriend for a while.
And this is
I think-
this is your perspective from a male, right? And I agree. Do you agree with what he's saying?
Yeah.
I agree. I agree that men don't date initially saying,
Right.
I'm looking for my wife. And if a dude does say that, I'm like, it's probably something up with you.
I would think so too. I would think so. I would
He's trying to get his citizenship.
I'll let Amy jump in with the
Yeah.
female
She's
perspective.
coming next. So
All right, so that's what I would disagree with that statement in totality, really. And then it says as a man, and a lot of guys, we get hit with the as a man, or if you a man, or if you know what I mean.
hate
but,
it, bro.
But then we can't hit back with the as a woman.
I can't, but
We
I
can't
can.
we can't hit back with that.
I got empathy. I
You
got.
can, but you have.
but we shouldn't. Like it's
Right.
not a good.
no,
not
you're
a
not
good
gonna
look.
win.
not a, but I'm
Yeah,
just saying,
we
like
got
you're
a couple
saying,
of
well,
cards on that
as a
one.
man, you should be able to protect me. You should be able to provide for me. You should make me feel safe. Okay, well, as a woman, what should I expect from you?
You can expect some of the same things. It's just not gonna look the same.
When
way.
you say that, it's considered toxic masculinity.
What?
That's not toxic
What?
masculinity.
What are you talking about?
I understand. Like, no, and any question that usually comes back around is usually considered toxic.
So let me, if we,
But those answers, I would love if you can give some. Like, okay, a guy is going to protect you physically. She's going to provide for you
Protect you
financially, provide for you, whatever as a man is. But as a woman, what are you giving?
You're saying modern or traditionally?
I mean, I would love to hear her answer.
So,
but,
what's her
since you're
name?
here.
Jodeci?
Miss Howard.
it's
Jodeci.
Oh, okay. I
He
put a
said
D in.
Jodeci.
don't be, I got you, Jossie.
Jossie Howard.
I would love for her to
Yeah.
answer, and I want to hear Amy's
So-
answer too.
Yeah.
That's
so-
two perspectives.
Make sure you answer Will the Drill. And
That's
then,
not my name.
I mean, Drills.
It's
Drills.
Will
It's drill.
or
Drill.
drills.
Will or
Drills.
drill.
So, Amy, what's your answer?
I guess I have my own personal
Okay.
expectations and things like that when it comes to that. So I can leave that out for the sake of being the neutral party. In saying that, I think that speaking from the male perspective, definitely you guys may not walk to the table and do that. And females have a different expectation when they're walking to the table. But if we are talking about expectations, within the first date, are you really able to really throw out the expectations that you have for each other, whether it's male or female?
No.
Do you have the opportunity to
I
do
think
that?
so.
I mean,
And,
some
or
high
if
level
you
ones.
do,
You can
do
some
you
high-level
take
expectations.
that opportunity
No.
to talk about those expectations, or
No,
are
I don't
you-
talk about them.
You know what I mean? And I'm not saying like the your high level ones like protect, provide, blah blah
No.
blah, but small expectations like, hey, yeah, I love a gentleman who opens up the door, blah blah blah. Like that's an
But-
expectation, right? But do people take the opportunity? And I'm just saying it as a female. So
Yeah.
as a male, what might be a simple expectation that you may have? Y'all
Of a
just
woman?
said maybe someone who offers to put their hand out to grab the check. Although I'm gonna grab the check anyway, playing game.
That's what we
not
want.
playing game.
No,
It's
no,
just-
play the game,
It's
bro.
just-
Show me that you may.
Play the game.
Pay
That's the
for
game.
I mean, it's not a game.
It is
is
a
a
game.
game.
It's not a game.
It's not upfront.
Because you show me you don't want to pay it either.
Up
so we
front
both
would have
playing
said.
game.
That's why it's a
up front
game.
would have said, "Hey, I want to go on this date. I do want to go Dutch. And if you got there and you actually was interested in this male or female, whichever that you would be your partner,
Those are the
then
Dutch,
you
those
would
are the Dutch
might-
guys.
You will say,
I do expect it.
right. If that's the case, then you'll express upfront your expectation that we're gonna go Dutch. And if you're inclined to, and
No,
you feel so
no.
interested, you will say,
No,
I'm
not
going
changing his
to,
He's not changing
I'm
his
gonna
mind.
grab the check.
that's not the game, Amy.
I ain't
So
trying-
listen, first
I'm
of all-
Hold
not
up, wait. First, Amy did not
promoting
answer the
games.
question.
She
Okay,
didn't.
I'm
she
sorry.
she
My
pushed
bad.
another question back on us.
No, yeah, she does. She is doing that a lot. We need to pay attention to her, bro, because she gonna be in here often. So we need to learn her communication
Well, it's
style.
not necessarily about me the whole time. I'm not gonna talk about me the whole time, but I can. Do you
Right
want to
now.
know what
We
my
want to know what
expectation-
yours
Right now,
because
we
I feel
talking.
like
What's
you got
the
some.
posing question?
All right, so
he asked the question.
one, you could touch on the first date you're thinking about marriage, or even the inkling of being, a husband and wife relationship with a stranger. That's kind of weird for me. The second part is if a guy is expected to provide and protect and all this other stuff as a man, like that's basically what she stated. What do you bring to the table as a woman? Like, what can we just like name off or list off?
You talking about
Don't
me
say
personally, or am I speaking for all?
Well, I
females
guess-
in
I
general?
think and
Because-
you're speaking in general for women
I
because
can't speak in general for women.
Nah, you gotta talk for you,
okay,
I gotta
talk
talk
for
for
you
me.
then, because I'm gonna apply that generally because
and then we'll get.
we have this. The things he said are things that we can apply generally. Like, they're expecting. I'm sorry.
No, I want her to speak. You're the female representative.
No,
I want
I
you
didn't
to,
sign up for
She not
that.
taking
Yes,
That
you
is not
are.
my
No, no, no.
expectation coming on this
Let her speak for herself.
podcast.
We can tell. We can tell what's general.
Okay, so
No
for
generic
me,
answers.
first date,
Amy answered.
coming for me, first date, my expectation is just to have is this person someone I can be friends with?
That's a good game answer. I mean, it's a real answer and a game answer.
That's mine. I
It's
like
good
that.
for both. I use that good. I use it.
Do I have an expectation that the male will pay for the check? It is a expectation. It is not a high expectation because I was taught to bring my own cash to cover what I need to cover, especially since I might need to beat feet if this young man is out of his mind of some sort. So
Wow.
I'm always going to have money on me to cover my portion, or if I feel so inclined to cover the whole check. I've never done that on a first date.
Of
but
course. Ain't no date that good.
This is
I
never
will say
happened.
that I've never done that on the first date, but I have paid for a meal because I feel like it's important for me for both of us to be able to do that if I'm thinking long term.
Okay. Now, as a woman,
Wait.
This is a part
Read
that-
that comment.
that list yet.
Tanea just said.
sometimes dating rules gives.
Read it to the
prostitution
people.
vibes.
Read it to the people.
Sometimes dating rules give prostitute vibes. Of course.
Of course, you say.
They
Explain
do.
that. Explain.
No,
it.
because
Prostitution vibes.
oh yeah, prostitution.
Explain that.
I'm gonna angle, bruh, non-reader. Why you correcting me? Now,
I can see that one.
now, basically, like if a guy, like what Basic was saying, like a guy buys a drink. Now I'm expecting you to at least be around until the drink is gone. Like that's a valid expectation.
oh, wow. So you're
when
one of those
somebody
guys-
say, oh well, if I never bought a drink before in my life. Actually, I never have.
Because you didn't get into that club.
Talking
space.
to the wrong one here. This
He bought a
No,
lot of
no.
drinks?
He didn't get into the club space. I don't think.
Nah, I got into the club a lot.
You sure?
yeah.
Nah, not as an adult, bro.
No, I was nah.
That's what I'm saying.
You talking about like
When I met you, You was not in no
I
club.
was done. I was clubbed out by that.
You
time.
weren't in the club. You talking about
clubbed
college club
out.
shit. That ain't club shit. You ain't
You didn't
got
have
no money.
no college when you got money. When you have funds to
No,
buy somebody.
when I had
thing.
money, I
Think
was
about
clubbed out.
you being single. You know what I'm saying? You was doing your thing.
Yeah, it was.
That's
no
how.
reason to
That's
buy a
me.
drink.
That's
Okay.
me.
All right.
I'm in the club. I ain't got no kids.
Mm-hmm.
I got excess money.
No kids.
I see a cute girl.
It's not. I didn't say it's a
She
bad
ain't
thing
got
to
a
buy
drink
a
in the
drink.
club,
It's
but
not
I'm
a bad
saying
thing to buy
that's
a
an
drink.
easy standard.
I'm just saying.
right there.
I'm going off of. I'm trying to make a point for her being
Okay, I'm
correct.
sorry.
And her point is, if a guy buys dinner or he keeps buying stuff, there's some sort of exchange that's expected. And
Mm-hmm.
what's the exchange? Now, of course, that sounds terrible.
No, I get
That sounds bad. But the expectation can be, on the second date, I'm gonna do this. But nobody thinks that way.
But I think expectations in general, you are expecting a reciprocating relationship between
how
whatever is on the opposite side. When
but
we
how
just
does
talked
that-
about
What's
business,
reciprocated is the question.
Yeah,
when
what's
you're being in it-
reciprocated? Is it equal?
is me saying thank you for opening the door? Is that a reciprocation?
for
But
the
you
door,
want
the
that,
door,
right?
The door.
That's an
No,
expectation,
he thought
correct?
that you were gonna say thank you for the dinner is equal.
No, but what I'm saying, I'm saying that in expectations, you are expecting something back as a result.
Yes.
Period.
Yes. No.
Yeah,
what
yeah, we making her point. Yeah.
What's all
Her
right.
point. I
But
love,
it's when you are a prostitute, those who prostitute and they're giving their bodies and you're exchanging money.
not just body. What are you paying for with a prostitute?
I don't know. I've never done that before.
Well,
It's just time.
what they always say, you're paying for. When you hear men talk about you doing that, you're paying for their time. So after time is over, they can go away.
It's time.
But that's what I'm thinking about when that's what women all, and they don't understand it. That's how they're sounding when they're saying, well, he needs to pay for the meal because he's wasting my time.
Okay.
Like that's how you sound. It sounds prostitutish. Like I don't know if that's a word.
So let,
word now.
let me ask this. Let me ask this.
Ish on the end
Let me
of
ask
everything.
this because we could.
Prostitutish.
Let me ask this so we can go. We could definitely go into like so many different aspects of
that?
like dating. It's Tania.
Tania is correct.
Amorous had a good comment up here. You have to be able to provide for yourself.
Yes, you
Because
can.
without a man, I still pay my rent, my car note, buy groceries, etc. Once we become a unit, I'm still providing something, right? So I think
absolutely.
the things we were talking about. Well, what's that something, right? We
it should be that.
yeah.
Like you don't stop. You don't stop contributing. Like that rent may turn to a mortgage, but you don't stop. Like you already paid it. So
Right.
what's the big deal?
But the
in
expectation
contributing
for men are to
Yeah,
be
pay
able to
everything.
handle these things, and that's what I think. As a modern man, you know, we don't really have the ability all the times to question these old traditions, and that's a problem. I think that's why I brought the whole.
What do you mean you don't have the?
We don't have the question to
ability
say
to-
like, so me saying let's go Dutch on the first date. That really blew up on the internet at one point in my life because everybody was like, "Oh, you the Dutch nigga?" Like, "Oh, this nigga ain't paying for dates." I ain't gonna like recently single me. They were like, "I ain't gonna hook you up with my girls because you trying to fucking go Dutch on the first date."
Okay, so
You
did
know?
you follow that up with why going Dutch was something that
Because
spoke to you?
they don't want to hear it.
But they don't want to hear. They don't want to hear the logic about going Dutch. Like I'm like, and I said all these things, right? We're coming up to like equal pay. Like if I'm dating somebody, like before I'm thinking like, okay, men pay for dates because women didn't have like the jobs that men had, right? They getting paid like way less than men, so they need to pay, right? Now it's like we're equal, right? Y'all more educated than us. You know, a lot of the women I date have like really good jobs, so I'm like, okay, there's no reason for me to pay everything, but me traditionally, I'm used to paying for everything, so I can't even let a woman reach for it, even though I have these thoughts. Now, the last first date I went to, we talked about this whole Dutch thing, right? We had this whole conversation because I explained this to them, like online. I'm known as the Dutch nigga. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like,
making it late. Bring your money on our first date.
no. We expressed it on the date. You know what I'm saying? So
Was that too late, or did you go Dutch or not?
well, at that point, I paid for the bill, and then she counted the second bill. You know
Oh Lord!
Wait,
What?
I don't know
What's
the problem with
happening?
that.
He's
Okay.
disappointed in you.
No,
That's
she did a good job. But what I'm saying is,
Nah,
yeah.
you wasn't real. You didn't.
No,
keep
I
it
wasn't real.
100.
I wasn't real. Because I'm used to traditions, right?
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is, I think women should be open to the fact, and I want to transition into expectations in any relationship, romantic relationship, because that's gonna be a meaty conversation.
Did your homegirl answer though? I mean, you didn't. But
No, Josie
Josie?
didn't. She went.
right.
She went.
I didn't hear a list at all.
Jossie.
She went to sleep.
Yeah.
She went away.
She said, yeah, she knew some people in the chat. What's up, Jossie? She must be in. I forgot the organization, but anyway, but we want to transition to expectations
She got
because
away with that.
So the next subtopics I want to talk about is expectations within romantic relationships. So once we're in a romantic relationship, what do we expect out of the other person? Because I think men don't talk about their expectations a lot, right? They kind of just accept what's here, right? And women do eventually talk about their expectations, but sometimes it's too late. You know what I'm saying? And it's at the point where dudes like, bro, we've been doing this for 5 years now. You got a problem with how I've been like, bro, what's the problem? So I want to talk about that, and I want to get into self-expectation, what expectation we have on ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to spend, 20 minutes on this, and we're going to wrap up. So tell me, so romantic relationships. So I got a guy who's engaged. I got a
unmarried.
Guy, he's unmarried. I got a married guy.
Okay.
Single club. So and we got
in them streets, both of them.
And we got two.
And we can be on the curb in the house. We ain't gotta be on the street.
We own the streets, okay?
We just frolicking about.
Yeah, we ain't figured it out yet. But we got two single people here, so we got everything I think you need here: female, male, you're in a relationship. We just need a married and
a married female.
Yeah, and a female who's about to get married. But I don't know those people.
All right, we don't need to.
All right, so
I mean, we got who we got right here.
So who want to start talking about expectations within a romantic relationship?
So I'll pose a question. Ooh. What is
Look at her.
One
I like it.
What is one of the expectations that you have in your relationship, maybe 1 year in?
1 year.
I can talk about one expectation I have, like immediately once we get into a relationship. So I have this whole.
So define into a relationship, because I want to make sure that we're on the same page. Into a relationship as in monogamous?
Yeah, so we're at the point where, so I reach a point with a girl when I say, where I personally am monogamous, but I have not discussed that with you, right? So this is my test period where I'm like, okay, I want to just date her. I'm not gonna date other people, and I'm not gonna tell her because I don't have that same expectation on her. And then I get to a point where I want her to only be dating me, right? And so this is a point where you get into either a relationship, or some people do this other thing where they don't want to say it's a relationship, but it is. They're like, I want you only to date me. Which, all right, that's girlfriend, boyfriend, right?
That's the point when you pull the condom off?
What?
That's a great.
Is that the same point?
He's basic logic. So stuff like that.
No, that's a real.
Is that the same point?
Maybe
So that happens at the same time. Okay.
That's why I was asking him.
Maybe that happens.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that happened right before this conversation.
Okay.
Because you gotta know if it's real. Look, you know it's real. You like, okay, let's
Go ahead.
So anyway, so once I had this conversation, I have this expectation of, you need to make my life easier. This is my expectation.
Easier how? Break that down.
And that's the thing. It's very generic. It's I feel like, and I've talked about this on the podcast before, that communities were formed to make life easier, right? 2 people better than 1, right? 10 people is a group. We can make life easier for each other. So this smallest unit of that is 2. So I feel like 2 people need to make my one life easier. This is my expectation at the beginning. The simplest one. Make my life easier. I don't even specify how, what. I just want you to make my life easier.
I feel like that's a common expectation. But I think
Is
that
these 2?
Do you think that that's a fair expectation?
I feel like it's unrealistic.
Unrealistic?
Oh, wow. Really?
I think it can fall into unrealistic depending on who you're dealing with. But if this person doesn't make your life easier, then what?
Oh, then that's bad. I got a negative connotation with that person. And now I'm like, they're not making my life easier. So why do I have them in my life?
They're expendable now.
Right. So let me add another component. My expectation is that and you need to make my life easier. Are you going to let said person know what that means, what that looks like, what it should look like?
The thing about, for me, that's hard to identify because I'm looking at everything from an internal point of view. I need you to look at things from an external point of view and saying, okay, what does he struggle with? And where can I lighten the burden a little bit? You know what I mean?
So you want this
She has to
person to
be
be
in.
thoughtful.
Yeah.
and
Oh,
observant.
for sure. For sure. If she sees like, oh, he struggles with organization, or you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, he has a lot of ideas, but I personally struggle with organization, right? So I have a lot of ideas, but I'm all over the place. I remember I stopped doing something and I started doing something and I was like, this is crazy, right? So how can you, if you have the skill set, help me be more organized? Like, so that's important to me. Like, how can you make my life easier? However you see fit. That's why I don't have a direct answer for it. It's wherever they see a place where I struggle, I want you to step in and make my life easier. That's just my general expectation. Pops up that I only use this in one relationship, and I told her like, this is my expectation, and we had a conversation about it. Like, I want you to make my life easier. Do you think you make my life easier? Her answer was no. And I said, I went like this. Well,
Yeah.
What we doing
that's,
here?
That's pretty much it. That's
So
it.
let me ask the both of you, and I think y'all are in different stages of relationship, being engaged and then married for some time. When did you have to become specific about your expectations? And I'm not saying abroad, hey, I want to have a healthy relationship or I want to have a satisfying sexual relationship.
Right.
When did you have to become specific to say, hey, this specifically is what I need to happen, this point, where, how, when, why, all those details. When did you have to do that?
Now, you do have the discussion of expectations. So before me and my wife were married, we had, this is my goal in life. This is your goal in life. So that was our expectations, our goals. But as far as being specific, you don't get to those until you get to those in life. It's like, okay, well, this situation, I don't like the way you handle this situation, and I expect you to handle it this way.
Right.
Can you handle it that way, or is that a problem?
So it was prompted by the actual when
occurrence.
you came to it.
Yeah, because it's hard to come out, hey, if such and such, like, if I'm in an argument and some road rage guy come out, I don't need you jumping out the car. I'm going to jump out. You know what I mean? It's like, that's not going to happen. You're not going to have that conversation. But if something specific happens, I think that the lines of communication needs to be open. That's the expectation that you can talk about from day one. Communication, and being cool with confrontation, because you're gonna have confrontation. So, like, if you're cool with that, you say, okay, what's the worst that could happen? We have an argument, whatever. I don't like the way this situation was handled, so we can talk about it. And it doesn't matter what comes up, because now you can talk about it, and the worst thing that's gonna happen is an argument. So what? You've had hundreds of them by the time.
that's it.
Yeah. I like that the highlight there for me was that sometimes you aren't able to express where your expectation is until you are come face to face with something that you didn't like, and you're like, okay, let's have a conversation. But what's important about that is you have to be able to be open enough to say, okay, that rubbed me the wrong way, so we got to talk about what I want you to do differently next time.
The communication has to be there.
It has to be there. And especially not waiting. And I'm not sure about as far as how long you guys wait before you correct or offer a correction to that situation, so that you're not thinking in your head, okay, she don't care. She doing it again. There she go again. Ungrateful. Ain't going to pay for nothing. I just told her. I just gave a face, or I got so upset. Why don't she know that this rubbed me the wrong way?
Yeah, that's your fault.
This shit.
I'll tell you that right there. That's your fault
This
for
shit.
not addressing the issue.
Bro, that's my last relationship. I didn't
that was your
I didn't address nothing.
heard.
And then I got bent up about the shit. You know what I'm saying? But hey, we got an episode on Tuesday, man. Like, I mean, this a plug. This a plug, y'all. So we got an episode on Tuesday. Basically goes into me not having expectations at all, because I didn't have them at all in this relationship. And it's gonna go into like where that led us to be. You know what I'm saying? And it was a very weird place that we were.
If that chair break, bro,
I should need that.
I might as well just walk away.
Yeah, because because my last adult relationships, like I was a totally faithful guy, so it wasn't any of those usual suspects. So it was all like internal issues and like real issues that you have. So y'all check that on Tuesday, man. We're gonna have an X on here, so it's gonna be interesting, man. We're gonna have Mr. Keith back on that, man. Hopefully we have Will and Amy in the comments, giving. You know, I want to have Amy calling in on all these episodes and giving us a nice perspective. Whatever you can.
What is chill?
Whatever.
This thing creaking.
All right, so I want you to answer this, and then I want to transition into self-expectation and how that affects us in our lives. So what do you think about?
Well, first, before you go on there, I do want to touch on, Tanisia's comment where she said, love isn't easy. Because I think that's another thing that you could also look at. I think a lot of times, regardless of what your expectations are or what you bring up, you have to understand relationships of any kind that are worth any substance. Yes. They're going to take work.
Absolutely.
So nothing can be easier given to you if you come into it like, hey, this is what I need, this is what you need to do. It's not cut and dry like that. It's not gonna happen. That's social media. That's TV. It's not real life. So you have to be willing to put in work. Right. And with me, I didn't have any really expectations really come into the relationship because I came from a single parent home, so I didn't really have any expectations as far as what I feel like a marriage should be. Like, not any real expectations, because I don't know, everything's freestyle. It's the same thing even with my relationship, because I've probably had really like one real girlfriend. So I didn't come into the relationship thinking, okay, this is going to be my last one. This is this and that. Of course, as men, when we get to certain ages, we start to, care a little bit more, thinking that things are a little bit deeper and this, not just another number. Sure. But like, I really didn't know what to think. Everything is always on the fly, and I'm not the best with explaining myself. I'll probably wait until, something bothers me or it'll be said 30 times and then we get an argument, then I'm gonna blow up and be like, hey, you did that 30 times and it got on my nerves. Yeah. Instead of just expressing, so that's like a big thing for me. But I really didn't come into it with any expectation. Every relationship that means something to me, I always think like, okay, I want to become this person's friends. And I probably put that same stigma as a friend, somebody reliable, somebody I can call on when I need on, like my real actual friend. So, and then, if it goes into something else, cool. But every relationship I ever had will always be like, okay, we're going to be good friends. And then, if something happens out of that, cool. But yeah, you got to be able to put in work. That's a big thing. You got to be able to put in work.
For sure.
Yeah, I think when I was doing like just research on people who have done research on expectations, and what they spoke to is that in the day and age that we are in now, with how the way we live is through a place of self-actualization. So we're finding ourselves and finding out what we want. But when we get into relationships, we don't spend just that much time in the relationship with that other partner, cross-referencing the information that we found out about ourselves. So when you talked about, I know all these inner things and I want her to do the external work, what about giving her a little bit of information, if y'all are at a point of trust, a little bit about that inner part of you that you have discovered, so that she is more in tune with how to navigate, how to help you with organization. Because I can help you with organization, but the way I do it, is it going to be the best way that you want me to do this? Right? Or what's wrong with giving part of a cheat code to the person that you want to meet you halfway?
Is that kind of, so Tanisha had here a 80-20 rule.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
Yeah, I think so.
Can y'all explain this? Because she said, is there 80% good better than the bad?
Yeah.
20%. Somebody
you want the
explain
pro
that
to do it, or you want the married dude to do it?
Let me get 2 lines from you, because I think, because maybe I understand that. Then I want her more words, because
All right, so 80-20 rule is basically nobody's perfect. You're gonna get about 8 out of 10 things you want. Other 2 out of 10 outweighing the 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
That's it. I only got 2.
Amy?
What he said.
You only had 2. That's it? What he said?
Because there is nobody that's perfect.
Damn.
Raise your hand if you do. Type 1 if you are in the comments. If you're a
Somebody will
perfect
type it. Somebody's gonna do
position,
it.
you know. And I hope you're not a liar. Okay?
Kelvin think he
and there we
perfect.
go.
Yeah, that's like how many ones he put though. Type 1. He
Yeah,
put
there's
1,
nobody
2,
that
3.
is perfect, and so you're gonna have flaws too. So, can you really expect perfection from somebody else?
Okay, 80-20. So okay,
It's real.
Never heard that before.
never.
Oh,
I'm not in these circles. Okay. All right. So
Real Circle. That was in a whole movie. Why do I get married? Didn't they speak that?
Somebody talked about
watch
it.
those
What
man.
But it's like outside of movies too. I'm
Yeah.
surprised. Since he's so deep now, I'm surprised he doesn't.
Well, this is a recent thing. So.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
Out of the last relationship. So okay. So last thing we want to chat about is self expectations, right?
Okay.
So we talked about where do expectations come from. We talked about business expectations. We talked about romantic relationship expectations, and now I want to handle expectations you have of yourself. It's probably the biggest one, right? They affect you the most. What do you expect from yourself? You know what I mean? So, Amy, I want you to leave this because I feel like you're gonna put some deep shit on us.
When I'm thinking about expectations of self, and I think about those who show up in therapy, is sometimes we can you pour me a shot of H2O? When I think about self expectations, that sometimes they can lend itself to cause us to have mental health challenges. Because there are some people that have so much expectations for themselves that they don't reach them, or they're overwhelmed by them, or they're disappointed in themselves, and so that takes a toll. There's negative thoughts that they start to have. They start to discount the things that they have accomplished. They start to skip over the minute things that they have been successful on that actually is connected to their expectation. It's just not the whole thing. So I think it's good for us to have high expectations for ourselves, but we also have to have realistic expectations of ourselves based on our circumstances, our resources, our abilities. And so I think if we took into account those things, that would kind of help us to hone in on healthier expectations for self.
That's real. Do you have an outstanding question for the fellas?
I
can ask something if you don't have anything.
I didn't have. Go ahead.
All right. So okay. So I'm gonna ask. These are gonna be personal questions because y'all are in different.
I love every response Basic is because it's like it's about me.
Yeah, he been quiet a little bit, so I'm kind of basic. So you're now coming into a marriage. So what do you think your expectations are coming into a marriage, and like, you know, what do you expect out of yourself coming into that marriage?
Like I stated before, I've never seen like outside of TV. I haven't really seen too many. I've seen a couple as an adult, but like examples of like healthy marriage, I just know what I think I should do. So I guess I can probably give that example. I mean, just, you know, making sure I'm there physically.
But I want to hear specifically, like, what do you expect of yourself in this situation? Like, do you have any? You might not have any expectations of yourself. Like, what do I want?
Do you expect yourself to do the best that you can? Do you
I want to do the best that I can.
Now I want you.
But I don't know what that is.
Yeah, that's what I want you to go into. I want you to think about it.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to the next person. I want you to think about what's the best. Like, what quantifies the best to you?
What,
you know
like
what I'm saying?
J. Cole, I want to be Uncle Phil. Like, I don't.
But even that, what did Uncle Phil do that meant the best to him? I want you to think about what's behavior that makes it like that you expect out of yourself. Because if you don't have identifiable things that you expect out of yourself, how can you really expect it? Yeah, you don't even have a list for yourself. I guess
with me is, you know, being the provider and protector of my home.
So it's a traditional,
like
a traditional sense.
In the traditional sense, and trying to be a little bit, I guess, more millennial with the whole.
Explain.
Well, just you know, back in the day, you saw just in TV shows and other stuff, because like I said, with a lot of us being, you know, raised in a single home, the male figure that we saw was on TV. It was that Uncle Phil, that, you know, Cosby or whatever show you were watching, you know, you saw from off TV. So I guess with me just being a little bit more, you know, millennial, when I say that, just, you know, being more understanding, maybe listening, because a lot of times you saw where it was with the dad, it was just like what he said went. He ain't really hear much else left. Kind of let him alone. He ate his dinner, you know, kind of just trying to involve myself a little bit more on what's going on in the house, you know, what's going on with the kids, making sure that your spouse is taken care of physically and emotionally as well, but just caring, you know, so, you know, kind of opening up things and making sure you're learning and, you know, making yourself a better person as well.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Okay.
I think that's a good place to start.
Cool. That's good, man. How you feel about that? Okay, thumbs up. Okay. So Will, so tell me, what do you expect out of yourself right now? Like in general, like is there something that's at the top of the priority list that you just care about? Like forget all external things. Like what do you expect out of yourself?
My expectations are very high. I tend to bite off more than I can chew in life and like learn to chew later. I tend to do that a lot. So, you know, my expectations are to continue doing things that seem impossible to others. And it's not just to impress them. It's just that those are the goals I've always had. And I'm going to keep getting them. I mean, there's nothing to fear now. You know how I operate, and I've done a lot of things that most people wouldn't do, walked away from stuff that, you know, people would die to get. And, you know, it's just, I'm going to continue to do that. My expectations of myself is just that I can always, if I can sit and think, then I can do it.
Okay. Is it my turn?
It's your turn.
I have a turn. What do I expect out of myself? I never asked this. So
You passed the question around and ain't even took a sip of your own cup.
that's how I usually do. I'm used to pouring cups and handing out drinks because I can control the situation if I'm giving things. You know what I'm saying? So that was important to me in my past life. So what do I expect out of myself? I think I expect these I expect these general things that like not really. Now I expect these things. In my past, like I still didn't have expectations. Like, you know how people like in school, they're like, well, I thought I was supposed to go to college. And I went to college. But after I went to college, I didn't really have any expectations. Like, I'm supposed to come out here and I'm supposed to be successful and blah, blah. Like, well, I'll just figure it out. I never really had like, I'm going to end up doing computer science and blah, 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 blah. I was like, I'll just figure it out after. And I started working. Me and Will started. My first job was with Will out of college. Never had an expectation. And I haven't had one as far as that out of myself. And it just worked out. Now, I think that's all external to me. You know what I'm saying?
How it worked out.
It's out of my control how it worked out. You know what I'm saying? And I understand that it don't work like that for everybody.
Absolutely not.
It can go the other way. And there's somebody out there in the world that went the other way than me. You know what I'm saying? I recognize that and I appreciate that. But it's only till recently that I've established these expectations of myself. You know what I'm saying? Like identifying things I even wanted or needed out of any relationships I had. You know what I'm saying? Like even some stuff they said in the comments about the stuff Tania said about her father. I never even thought of a situation like that maybe he can't even, that's not a thing that he's possible of doing, you know what I'm saying, at his, 65 years on this earth. So why do I still expect this?
Right.
If he's been here for 65 years, he can't do it. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of like threw me because I ain't never think about that. You know what I'm saying? I should just accept things for what they are and then just take the best of it or what I can, you know what I'm saying? So my self-expectations right now are pretty low, but they're like increasing exponentially, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm thinking about that more because I know in my next relationship, I need to be more purposeful and I need to be, me asking these questions and talking about it makes me more whole, I think. So that's me becoming more purposeful and like, okay, I have a reason for doing X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? So I want to be able to have these conversations. So I'm working on my expectations. So as soon as I know, y'all gonna know.
I'm gonna speak. I'll make
What are
this
your
personal
expectations
for myself.
Yeah. we wanna know.
Because I came into a place last year. Was it last year?
2018 is the last year.
2018.
Okay.
And so what I decided coming out of a relationship in 2017 is that the whole year I wasn't going to date. It was going to be all about me. Because I felt like there were some things I needed to discover and uncover and realize and accept, whether it was good or bad,
Right.
so that I could set some expectations for myself. There was a quote, and I can't remember it, slips my mind right now, but I felt like it was time that I had to invest in me. So when you talk about finding a purpose or finding out more of purpose, doing things purposefully, you'll set some expectations for yourself. So for me, one thing was that accepting that sometimes I do things wrong and I'm going to have to apologize for them. Even if it's to a family member or a best friend. And I distinctly remember wronging a friend, and she's my best friend, and I had to call her. And she knew I was struggling with apologizing too. And she was like, but she accepted the apology. And I even had the conversation with her. I was like, that was difficult to do, but you're important enough that I know you need this apology.
That's good, man.
But that was an expectation for myself to realize that I'm not going to be perfect and I'm going to have to apologize. I'm going to have to wrong or right. An expectation for myself is doing things consistently. And so that's something more that I'm working on now. So I expect myself to be more consistent if I want the goals that I want. So I started seeing that if I valued something enough, I would set an expectation for myself to make sure that those values stayed in order with who I am. And so I was being genuine to myself before putting it out there to everybody else.
Right.
If I can expect for myself to be able to provide for myself, have a roof over my head, those are my expectations for myself, to be able to do those things. Then I can expect that from somebody else.
All right. I like that. That's very down to earth expectation.
No, I like that you said that, and I feel like I hear that a lot of time from women, like, hey, I'm going to take a year and date myself and just find myself. I feel like men need to do maybe not that same thing, but they need to do a version of that.
I think that same thing.
Yeah, because like a lot of times men really don't have much expectation for women, or it's like unrealistic stuff, or it's stuff that really doesn't matter, like the physical.
Yeah.
You know, so they definitely, I think they need to take a time and like, you know, because a lot of time with men, we think, you know, if we break up with somebody, your homeboys just tell you, I'll just get out there, you know, go out, just, you know.
That's exactly. What did you tell me?
Get a lot of bodies.
No, wait.
Yeah,
what did you tell me 2 months
Putting them
ago?
out there like that.
Yeah, get out in the streets, B. I mean, that's what people told me when I was out in them streets. You know,
That's what you told me. That shit was not good at all.
whatever.
But now he's telling you to date yourself.
I'm out here weird as fuck.
I'm not telling you that.
I'm out here weird as fuck, bro.
Yeah, I'm not telling you that. Amy's telling you that. Well, Amy didn't tell you that.
I told you how
I guess I am
did
telling you
this
to do
thing.
that now. I didn't tell you that before, but yeah, go
I'm out
do
here
that now.
struggling, B.
Find yourself.
2 months of sowing your royal oats and then 10 months of dating yourself, man. It's a whole year. You can do it.
No soy. We don't need the soy. No royal oats.
Well, that's the 2 months up anyway, so it's just start dating yourself.
You already in the
Amy.
date yourself.
Okay.
Take yourself out. Figure out what you like. Get uncomfortable. I think sometimes people are uncomfortable with the things that bring them discomfort, so they push it down. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with the fact that I manipulate people because I want to show my cards.
Grab the check for yourself.
Yeah, you
Act
definitely
like,
can.
I'm gonna reach for myself.
act like you're
I-
gonna grab it.
I started to
How was your
enjoy
plan?
taking myself out to a date and paying for my own stuff and leaving a tip and coming back and the bartender knows me and then boom, there goes a whole relationship.
I'm used to that.
You know what I mean? I loved going and doing new things with myself, so now I know more about what I like, and I'm gonna tell you what I don't like because I know for sure what I don't like.
Yeah, don't call
So
it
there's no
Amy
ifs,
G.
ands, buts about it. So, and it's not to, it's so that you know what you're getting into. You know what to expect because I'm going to tell you.
Right.
And then everything from there, when the situations come, then I'll give you more information as I feel you need it.
Yep.
That's a word. That's a word with KB right there. So let's wrap it up, man. We reaching on 9:30. You know what I'm saying? That's 2 hours. That's
In
like
30 minutes.
Well, we
like-
did
No,
see
no,
this
no,
time.
No, we started about
20
2:30.
minutes, yeah.
I've been here.
I'm at
since
7:30. Well, we started about 7:30.
I've been here since 6:30.
Yeah, that's about how I feel usually. So anyway, so let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I gotta take all this shit down too. Because I live here.
Yes.
No, you don't. You about to leave.
Niggas don't never help me take shit down.
You
They
should just
leave.
keep it up. You got a show Tuesday.
Bruh, this my
Yeah.
couch, bro.
So you sleeping on the
Well,
couch or in the
what
back
time?
room?
I gotta watch Game of Thrones, bro.
You know what?
Game of Thrones
yeah,
on
it's
right
already
now.
on.
My nigga, we can watch after this if y'all
We
want
need
to.
to
If y'all about
have
that
a words
life.
with KB on Game of Thrones.
Bruh, you don't want my opinion.
You don't.
Game
He
of Thrones?
ruins the show.
No. Game of Thrones trash this season. Okay, anyway.
Okay, wait,
we
we're
gonna
gonna
talk
move
after.
all the way
Move
on
past
right
it.
this moment.
Okay, so this is
Move past him.
Okay.
this is the part in the show
Goodbye.
where it's wrap up time. So we'll go to each person and want them to wrap up how they felt about the subject, any lasting words they want to leave with the listeners, and anything else they want to add. So this is the part you at the end you plug, but we want to hear a wrap up on the subject, man. So I'm gonna start with Basic Logic to my
You
left.
always start with me.
Nigga, you to my left. What you
on
mean?
the show.
Yeah, my nigga, you on the
Your
show.
usual
It's on the show.
suspect.
He even when Keith on the show, he always go to me first.
To my left. That's how you deal space to your left, B.
Nah, it's clockwise.
Well, y'all know I don't know how to. I just
Play
be playing.
space?
I know how to play, but I don't know how to shuffle.
No, he don't know how to play.
We can crank it up again.
You
I
can't
just-
shuffle.
I don't know
If
how
you
to
can't shuffle, you can't play.
No, I just I know how to slam on the table and stuff.
No, you
Oh, wow, 'cause
don't.
that's a key.
No, you don't.
You gotta know how.
You
to
You don't
play
know
the
when
cards.
or how.
A little bit. Anyways,
You saw how he pour alcohol, right? That's how he plays spades.
whatever.
Go ahead, bro.
What up, Tess? Yeah, but nah, it definitely, like I said, good topic. I know I'm not really for opening up, so this was about all y'all gonna get.
You did good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did good, bro.
Yeah, so I just say, everything's always about growth. Don't ever think you're. I used to think, like, especially now that I'm getting older, I always used to think, hey, you are how you are, but you can change, like, regardless of what you've done and what you've been through. You can change, and that is a big thing. Like I said, with Amy, that we can't just think because black people on this earth, and we like all the listeners regardless of race, whatever you are that's listening. But I feel like black people, we have been dealing with some of the most traumatic things, and we're the ones that don't want to get help. And we went through this, and we're just like, oh, you just had to go through it. It's something you had to put
That's
up with.
crazy, bro.
But you don't. You need to talk about these things because we may not do nothing crazy like shoot up a school, but we do other, toxic things that, are hurting our family and our community.
Yeah, imploding on our family, man.
Yeah. So get some help. See somebody.
All right, man. But it
You
start.
wanna be somebody if you wanna go somewhere. No,
Apologize on
Okay.
behalf of
All
Words
right.
with KB.
But this,
Y'all
hey,
remember this?
hey, this the start. This the start of the conversation, man. That's why we got our therapy series going on this summer. So we appreciate y'all tuning in to this, man. Drills, what's popping?
Yeah, so great episode. I know I was part of it, but still.
Yeah, you are
If I
part of it
wasn't-
right
if I
now.
wasn't a part of it, it would still be a great episode. It was real cool.
Cool.
Expectations is something that people don't really talk about, especially in depth. Like they'll say, okay, expectations. I expect to keep my job, or
That's
I
it.
expect a raise. You know what I mean? But to get into detail and different types of expectations, realistic ones, unrealistic ones, secret expectations. I think it was something that a lot of people need to see. So definitely want to share this. Everybody who's listening and watching it, you should try to share it however you can. And I think it could be helpful for a lot of people. I do think we need to get rid of the stigma of actually, reaching out for help. It may not be in a professional sense, but obviously that can help. But even if it's a friend, you got to confide in somebody. Everybody's not, married, so you can confide in a friend and, have that person to give you feedback or just to listen. I think that we need to embrace that a lot more. It can be of great help. And I guess at the end, plugs, itsdrills.com, at itsdrills on Instagram, at drillsblogs on Instagram. New blog every Monday. Actually, if you go to the website right now, you can get a sneak peek of tomorrow's topic, which is money isn't everything, right? It'd be a good read.
That sounds like we're gonna have to bring you on for that. We need to do a topic on that. You need to come lead the discussion.
All right, you gotta read the blog first.
Yeah, that's on the whole. That's gonna send everybody to the
All
blog.
right, cool.
So cool, man. That's itsdrills.com, man. Y'all check out his music, man. He got some the seasons coming out for his mixtape, right? Is summer out yet?
Huh?
Summer?
The summer's not out. Spring came out last month.
Okay. So we waiting for summer.
Summer 16 will be the last installment, and then the feature album.
You got any dates on when summer coming?
Yeah, July 1st.
July 1st, y'all look out for summer. But right now we got spring out, so y'all check it out.
Spring cleaning is out. Isdrills.com at Isdrills on Instagram at DrillsBlogs Instagram.
For sure. I share his last blog post on my my Facebook page, so y'all check it out if you haven't already. Amy.
Hello. This was great.
This is great.
This is awesome.
She was awesome, right?
This is great. At first, I was like, I don't know. Let's see how this goes.
She
But it
was. I could tell she was. No, I could tell she was
I had
like
to
super
feel it
skeptical, bruh. She was super skeptical about coming on the show, bruh. For real. I was like,
it wasn't
man,
super.
Skeptical.
Super, bro.
It wasn't super.
Super, bro.
But
You
I
didn't
did
know if you
that.
wanted to reach for the check or not.
Well, I brought my Callum cash just in case.
Ready.
But I think it was really, really awesome to be able to have a flowing conversation about expectations. I think it was not to say that somebody's expectations are wrong or right, but to have a conversation about what expectations you're willing to meet or not meet. I think that it's awesome to be able to have a conversation about therapy and to focus in on the importance of the opportunity, taking advantage of the opportunity for therapy. It's not for somebody who is crazy, who is just having a challenge with their mental illnesses, but you can come in there and say something like, hey, I'm noticing that I'm having a little bit of trouble with setting some standards for myself or knowing what to expect from other people. That is an opportunity to have a discussion with a neutral person that's going to kind of give you feedback and give you ask you questions about where you think you want to go with this. It's not always about the therapist setting that tone for you. It's about you bringing to the conversation things that you want to talk about and where you want to go with it and knowing what you want to do. But I really, really enjoyed you all. Y'all great, funny, intuitive. Definitely I'm glad to be able to start this summer series of therapy with Words with KB. So plugs are Refined Vision Therapeutic Services. Woo woo. You can find me on Instagram at refinedvision_. Facebook will be popping up soon, as well as my website. Any questions or any comments or anything that you want to ask me about, you can email me. That's also on my Instagram page. But it is refinedvisionllc@gmail.com. Thank you to everybody who showed up and popped up in here to add to the conversation for Words with KB, because it's awesome to be able to kind of spread and open it up for you all, for you to have more of an audience as well, because this is good stuff.
Now let me ask you a quick question. Now, what would somebody reach out to you about? Because I want to frame a reference like, okay, if I'm having this thought process, then I need to reach out to Refined Vision _ on Instagram. So tell me what's a situation where I need to reach out to you?
Well, one, you can reach out. I'm going to put this up first, but if you're needing resources to knowing where to go to handle a certain situation, whether it's your mental health, the extremes of mental health, especially suicide, depression, anxiety, you can reach out to me. I can give you resources. We'll have to talk more if you want more about that. And based on if you have more of a need, then I can discuss that with you individually. If you're looking for opportunity for me to come and speak to whatever group or organization, just to kind of give a little bit more information to them or for them to be more informed, you can reach out and ask me about that as well.
You just did a high school group.
Yeah, no, it's Atlanta Metro. So I spoke to them about 4 weeks ago, maybe. And I was talking to them about stress. And then the other one was relationships, expectations.
Okay.
Like
yeah, Mr. Keith, he teaches that it's like something with kids.
Something with kids.
Yeah.
too.
So we might need to hook y'all up.
Deep right there.
Yeah.
No, it's something with I don't want to say they're trouble kids, but they're children. So I think
It's
stress.
inner city. So.
Yeah, it's some
Yeah.
inner city something. So I think talking to them about stress would be crazy. So I want to hook y'all up and see if y'all can work something out.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. So cool. I just wanted to frame a reference like, okay, this is when I should contact Refined Vision and Amy, and like, because sometimes people say hit me up and you don't know when can you. So especially this, it's like a whole, I wouldn't know, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm feeling things. What do I do?
Yeah. Who
This
do
is
I
my
talk
message
to about this?
With
Yeah.
a bunch of emojis with different feelings on it.
Yeah.
So I want to thank everybody coming through, man. Really great topic, man. And like I said, we're gonna rock this out. Like every episode won't be so deep because that's like not realistic, right?
Right.
Like I don't want you to invest like, even if I'm in a relationship, I don't want every time we talk to be so deep.
It should be fun.
So we're mostly a fun podcast, even though this is fun. This was fucking fun.
Yeah, it's some
You know what I'm
podcasts
saying?
are fun.
This is fun.
So
Right.
So
Keeping it light. Come
Right.
about them feelings.
right. So we want to keep the normal here, right? We want our normal to be where we can express ourselves and have a mature conversation about expectations, emotions, therapy, and it's no problem. You know what I'm saying? Like you can come to this podcast and hear about all this stuff, and it's gonna be interesting to you. It's gonna bring value to your life. And you're gonna be, maybe you get some entertainment out of it, but I want to lean on value, right? You're gonna get some type of value. So expectations to me, man, I didn't know how tricky they were. I didn't know how important they were until just recently, man. So, and now I think about it. I'm at my job and I got a literally right now, I feel like I got a problem with my lead, right? And I asked myself, what does he expect out of me? Once I framed the question from there, it was easy for me to come to him with a solution. Hey man, you need to really work on like communicating with your team and figuring out expectations, because that's where we got off topic, right? Because your expectations were like out of whack for the whole team, right? So, just framing things from expectations, I think is safe and it's important. Because if I'm dating a new girl, if I'm dating a new person, and I don't know their expectations, right? We don't ask those on the first date. We don't ask on the second date. By the third date, we're worrying about other things. You feel me? So we get lost in, okay, now I've been out with you 4 weekends, 5 weekends, 2 months. You said, I know. By then, you're assuming some things, but we gotta ask these questions down, man. This ain't the 90s, man. Let's ask, what are your expectations in this relationship? What are your expectations as we're dating and getting to know each other? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm interested in you enough to know that I don't want to cross any barriers. I don't want just us to get offended at each other for nothing. So, man, I just want us to form it. Most things coming out of expectations, man. I think nothing bad's gonna come from it. So that's like, this was pretty dope for me, man. I really appreciate this one.
I want to add to not only just ask, express your own as well.
Oh, for sure.
So both ways, communicating.
Hell yeah. Bruh, men, give them all your fucking emotions. Bruh, don't even let them rest, bruh. Bruh, I swear to God, they been getting off. Give them all you goddamn got, bruh. You wake up in the middle of the night and you had a fucking dream, and that shit made you feel away. They hit us with that shit. What you looking at?
I'm looking at him, which is
It's so
messing me up.
uncomfortable.
Listen, bro, and it make you feel a motherfucking way, my nigga. Let them know your dream. Cause I used to trip. I like, what, you had a bad dream and you mad at me? I used to trip. Like, what the fuck you mean? You know what she really was telling me? That she had a situation that happened in her dream, and she don't never want that situation to happen in her life. Cause she telling me she mad about that situation. Not that she mad at me.
You're not bringing me in on this conversation, are you?
No, everybody.
Right. No,
I don't know if your
no.
girl do that.
It's not right to do that.
No, that's not right to do.
We on mute.
Oh wait, no, you on mute.
Yeah. So
How long we been on mute?
I muted y'all niggas while other people was talking.
yeah,
so
like
while Amy
we
was
were
talking,
interrupting or something.
y'all might. Niggas is rude. Niggas is rude.
Damn.
But yeah, I mean, you have a dream. Understand that it's your subconscious, and nobody in the dream actually did that stuff.
But we gotta still be real about her feelings are
Absolutely,
real.
we can address her feelings, but we also need to understand that this didn't happen.
But
It may have.
See, but that's
Depending
what
on what it was.
See, what I'm saying is,
Oh, you talking about intuition? Like
I don't
No.
think. No, she's
What you
talking about
talking
the exact dream. Like it
depends
might
on
have
what that
happened.
dream was.
But what I'm saying is, don't pay attention to the dream. You know what I'm saying? Just address her emotions from the dream, because the dream just represent other shit, right? So let's address how she felt, because she don't want to feel those emotions.
Yeah, I
so
got that.
that's all. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just talking, but that's just a time that happened in my life.
Some
While I'm
words
like,
from KK.
yeah, that's just words, man.
Extra
I'm just
words.
yeah, it's extra words, man. But Game of Thrones on right now. So
We missing
motherfuckers
it now.
need to be watching this trash ass show, because we done invested 7 motherfucking seasons in this shit.
Lord. Cut
And
his-
now they just
How we
done
meet
walk.
you?
They just don't
Okay.
walk. I don't mute, first of all. Where my goddamn sound of clap? Let me get claps.
Top. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because I know what I'm saying is right. And Game of Thrones trash, but I'm gonna watch it.
I
'Cause
don't
I done
condone
spent
it.
this much time.
You gonna watch it?
And like I said,
Yeah.
anybody who want to watch it right now, I'm turning on literally as soon as we hit stop. But I appreciate y'all tuning in, man. Y'all make sure y'all follow the Instagram page, man. We got 171 followers now.
That's excellent.
Man, I appreciate every one of them goddamn followers. And I want y'all to make 172. You know what I'm talking about?
Get 170,000.
Right. And we got the podcast page, man, on Facebook, Words with KB Podcast. You know, we got the website popping, man. We got an episode coming out every Tuesday. I'm not sure what episode. We so behind on episodes. I put out 2 episodes this month. I've been tripping because I want to get into this Instagram IGTV shit. So I've been researching that. Oh, I got the podcast game. I didn't even show y'all. I'm gonna have to show you. Well, no, it's perfect for me to show it right now. So, y'all can't even see it. Let me make this bigger. Let me actually close this so y'all can see the podcast game. He gotta go to the bathroom. Is he old? Like me?
Let me know when you're done. 'cause we been sitting here a
Everybody.
minute.
So podcast game, right? So let me explain this to people. So podcast games, like I said, basically 5 of us have
Look at my
points.
little
Yeah, I had you ready to play.
Okay.
I had it ready to
Okay.
play.
I thought I was just gonna say guess.
Nah, see, I didn't replace yours because
We got the same beard, so
yeah, you was gonna be
guess it
Keith
works.
today.
It's all good.
So we have 4 players match for each game, and we have 5 points to give out to people who comment. Right. So anytime someone comments,
Are those
Yeah.
Game of Thrones?
yeah, that's what I use. That's why I say it's perfect to use. So if Amy says she want to give a point to player 3, right here, she said I want to give 2 points because that motherfucking answer was dope, right? She gives 2 points, and that's what shows on the screen. It's really fucking dope.
Cool.
My bad. Negroes. Well, we appreciate y'all tuning in, man. We're gonna release on a more regular schedule. We got the shirts popping on the page now. I'll post that. We got this shirt, Let's Go Dutch, on the website.
I'm gonna have to get me.
You know what I'm saying? Come on, let's go Dutch. You know, we got the white version and we got the black version. So fuck with it, man. Cheap ass prices, man, because I ain't even trying to make no money. I just want motherfuckers to wear the shit. So y'all fuck with it, man. Appreciate y'all tuning in, man. Peace.